Our resident curmudgeon finds inspiration in an unexpected place. I've been thinking a lot lately about my color computer. You see, I have been using it less lately than I used to. I'm the kind of person who always likes to try new things with my color computer. But lately, I've been finding it harder to discover new things to try. I guess I could look on social media, but I never really did get into that. Anyone who knows me won't be surprised. But I learned something new. There's a group of people who get together every Saturday to talk about the CoCo. They call themselves the CoCoNation, and they say they're the world's leading live weekly talk show featuring the color computer. They talk about the CoCo siblings and its cousins, too. They even talk about its red-headed stepchild. I've heard they've got some nitwit doing commercials for them. He pretends he's Sally Struthers. The CoCoNation live show has changed my relationship with my color computer. I find that I'm using it a lot more again. I really like the CoCoNation live show, and I think you will, too.
The CoCoNation show is an unscripted, live, and interactive broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own, and not necessarily those of the CoCoNation show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds are encouraged, and a sense of humor is recommended. Thank you for being a part of the CoCoNation.
Radio Shack? Okay.
What?
The 80s called.
Welcome to the CoCoNation, the world's first live and interactive talk show featuring the Tandy color computer and its hardware cousins.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the CoCoNation Show, episode 479.
Woohoo!
And my air conditioner's fixed. Yay!
Oh, good news.
And I need it up here too. We're getting up in the mid 80s again this weekend.
Eep.
The other
It's like
80s.
I've got my heater going behind me.
That's going to cause that permafrost to melt.
Yep.
I only wish it was only 80s. All right, let's see. This meeting is being transcribed. Why?
I don't know, but I
AI.
got the same thing, so yeah, we're in there.
AI.
That's Brian Weisler playing. I was going to turn it off in a minute. I was curious because I might use it for the Glenside Computer Club.
Oh.
Oh, make us
Oh,
guinea
so you're
pigs.
warning everyone. Gotcha.
All right. On the panel today, we start off with Marco.
Yay, glad to be here.
And next over is the button pusher. Nope. Then Ron Deluxe.
Hey, what's shaking? I hope we have a good show today.
Okay. Next over, we got Alan, Exile in Paradise.
Hello. Glad you're here.
All right. Carriage return line feed. We've got Sloopy Malibu.
Got my ice cold beer. I'm ready.
There you go.
Rocking the Allen and Right.
Rick Euland's up next.
Howdy, folks.
And Ken Waters, Cabin 2.0.
Yeah, so my coffee hasn't quite brewed yet, so it's going to be a little bit before I get the energy. I'm just melting the ice for water right now.
You should have water.
All right.
It's frozen though.
It'll be water soon.
All right. Next over, we got Henry Strickland.
Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to demo some failure.
Okay.
Awesome.
And another carriage return, we've got L. Curtis Boyle.
Well, I'm sure everyone, and pretty well every one of these shows is an exercise of failure. So it's fitting the theme.
And joining us today, we got Glen Hewlett.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here.
Hi, Glenn.
All right.
Glad you're here.
And Bob Emery.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to the show.
Kevin H. Okay. And Ron R.
Yeah, hey, Wingnut here. Good afternoon from Delaware.
Okay.
Greetings.
I don't see a grill.
Right.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
indoors.
Can't-
What's going
can't
on with
have
that?
in the basement.
All
Delaware
right.
sounds exciting.
All right. Next up, we've got Nick Marentes.
Hi, everyone. I'm still asleep, so this must be a nightmare. I'm watching.
Worst one. The worst one.
A recurring one.
Wait till Henry shows failure, then.
Yeah.
we'll see.
And then last but not least, we got Brian Weisler.
Oh, welcome to the show.
Let's see. In the chat, we got Wayne Campbell, Brian Blake, Marco, Michael Zwiffel, Kevin Holloway. Jay Jones, Jim Rye, Wayne Campbell, Kung Coco Fu, Coco Living, Salupy. Anybody else new on here? Tom Eric Gunderson, Canadian Retro Things, Daddy Burrito. I'm getting busy with the scroll. Joe Lovacoco, J.E. Jones, Bill Athing, Daddy Burrito, in case I didn't get you already. Chris Dries, Dries, And Rick. Okay, I think hopefully I got everybody. 60, that's who I was missing. All right. Well, we're going to do things a little out of order today. Curtis has some appointments to get to, so we'll start off with the...
When you want the latest in TRS-80, Tandy, Dragon, MC-10, and all of their hardware cousins, no matter what it takes, or where news breaks, from around the world to your nation. The CoCoNation News with L. Curtis Boyle.
In the chat, Jim Ryan. News first. I can't go to sleep this early.
Anyway, I'm going to do things out of order too. I'm going to cover the upcoming events here first because actually there's an addition to it. So, first up, we have VCF Midwest coming up September 12th to the 13th at the Schaumberg Convention Center in Schaumberg, Illinois. This is the biggest retro computer show on earth, as far as I know. There's usually a pretty good CoCo contingent at it too. And they kind of gather up and form their own little wing of tables there. So if you can manage to check that one out, that's probably one of the best shows to go to as a CoCo guy. Next after that, we have Tandy Assembly, October the 2nd. I know they're doing some active ads on Facebook and stuff here to get some further vendors because they have a much bigger venue this year. It's changed from last year. I think there's over twice as much space. It's also at a new location. And that is October 2nd to the 4th at the Doubletree by Hilton Hotel at the Cincinnati Airport. So if you're flying there, you don't even really have to leave the airport. You're pretty well right on there. And of course, this covers everything Tandy. So this covers all of the computers and just some general Radio Shack Tandy stuff as well. You'll see some electronic stuff and, electronic handheld games or, vintage Radio Shack signs from stores, etc. It's always a good time there too. And also quite a few CoCo people are going this year as well. This is the new edition here. Paul Shoemaker sent me that this morning. The New England Retrofest is happening in Concord, New Hampshire, October the 24th from 8:30 a.m. till 3 p.m. This is a general retro event. I try to remember if he's been to it before and actually talked about it with us before. I can't remember. I know he's been at a few things. So, but this is one that he just added onto the list here, and it's coming up not too far in the future. But if you're in that area and you want to check it out, it's a single day event, and it's at 48 Airport Road, which I'm assuming is meaning that it's pretty close to the airport as well. So, that might be another one to check into if you fly in.
So it says kids 12 and under free. What if we just act like we're 12?
Well, we'd all be free then.
Paul says this is a first-time event, so this is all new. So
this is a new one. Okay.
Yeah, so they need all the encouragement they can get.
Yep. And they can get the website link here if you want to check. It's got a list of hotels that are nearby and stuff too. So as usual, our show notes are already uploaded to the CoCo Discord in the special section for news. And I did read something from Alan. Maybe you can update us on this here, but it sounds like the post to the list of the news has not been working the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, sometimes it breaks with Spam House. It's a DNS blacklist, and then they fix it, and the fight continues forever.
Oh, okay, but it's still not working as of 2 weeks now, or
it wasn't last week. We'll find out tomorrow. Stay tuned.
I do know some people actually do read it on there, not anywhere else. So anyway, yeah, okay, brand new event. So that's cool. Yeah, definitely go there. Try to encourage. We're trying to encourage as many retro events as we can. Try to have a CoCo presence at them too, if we can. Next after that is VCF Montreal version 2.0 for this year because they had another one in January. Then they discovered not many people want to go there when it's that cold in January near Montreal. So the new one is in November, which is a little bit earlier and not quite as big of a chance of being snowy and minus 30. So it's November the 7th to the 8th. And it's also a bit closer to Montreal proper at the Champlain College St. Lambert. And I think the last year, or the one at the beginning of the year, was actually at a military place about 20 miles out of town. So this is actually within close distance of the airport.
And
Should
we
be a
know
little
how
easier to
good
get
Army
to.
barracks are insulated.
Yeah, wasn't one of the VCFs by New York or New Jersey in an old barracks too?
Right.
Yeah, that's old
But
military.
you don't have to sleep there.
True. Well, unless you're trying to be really cheap, but yeah, there's a few Coco people been there before. Jim Gary's given presentations there before. Sockmaster popped by in the January one as well, and this is the second one they've ever had in that area. And the first one had over 500 attendees, and I can't remember the exhibitors, and some pretty good speeches and stuff too. So I'm hoping this new one will be just as popular, if not more so. And I believe Ken is going to be going to that one, so hopefully we'll get some live coverage from there. After that, we got RetroSC in Brazil at Florianopolis, and this is happening that same weekend as Montreal. So it's November the 7th, single day event. And of course, this has a large community of some of the people that use the Coco clones from back in the day, like the Kodamax and the CP400, the CP400-2, and a bunch of others. So some of the people we've had on the show semi-regularly, like Erico, are going to be in attendance too. In fact, he's offered to help, kind of tour you around, because this is basically on an island just off the coast of eastern Brazil. So if you want some nice tropical vacation with your better half, etc., and you need an excuse to go to a retro show, that might be a good one, because it's like right on a beach and summer.
Yeah, remember, November is late spring.
Yeah, and plus it's pretty well equatorial, so it's pretty warm regardless of what time of year you go around there. But yeah, November, the further north you go up here, it gets worse and worse, colder and colder. So I'm sure Ron won't have to worry about it too much at early November being too cool, right?
Yeah.
You might be dropping below 100.
It's 111 today.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I think we're only supposed to get up to 84 or 86 today ourselves. So,
but it's a dry heat.
Sometimes.
And the last one, the dates for CoCoFEST for 2027 have been announced on May 14th to the 15th. There is some price increases coming too. So they're definitely looking for some more people to contribute some stuff to put into the auction, as Grant has mentioned here, I think a week or two ago. The website has not been updated to show that yet, but should be not too far in the future, I would guess. And that's it for upcoming events. We get that one new one to go to. After that, let's get into... Ken, do you want me to do the Game On News last, or do you want me to just do the Game On News next, or what would you like?
Game On News last is fine.
Okay.
I mean, we're doing the whole show in reverse, so.
Yeah, pretty much. Because it was going too smoothly the other way, so we got to fix that.
Well, then we should have said goodbye. We should have said goodbye and ended with hello.
Well, right. We should have done the
And we should praise the show then, too. No, I'm just kidding.
Somebody said we're sorry right up front.
Yeah,
That's true.
There we go.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
So we kind of forgot
We're
the outro.
kind of doing it
but,
the right way then.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, so a few Dragon updates first. Adrian Stokes has posted a picture of redesigned boards. You can show a picture here. And I'm trying to remember, because I know we covered this before, but I can't for the life of me remember what the board he was doing is. I know it's got some static RAM on it, a couple 1 meg sticks you can see there, but is this like another replacement board, or is this like for a Dragon motherboard, or is it for a certain component of it? Does anybody remember what his... Or can look at this and actually kind of determine what it is. And 60 might remember in the chat too, so I'll keep an eye out for that. But does anybody remember what this is about?
Makes fire come out the ROM port.
Okay.
Right.
I see, 5 volts and 3.3, a couple static RAMs, a little double header, almost looks like a RGB 8 or RGB monitor adapter. Obviously, it's
like
not.
a programming thing or something. Yeah. Oh, it's labeled right there. HDMI.
Scary you too.
And a mystery chip that can do anything or nothing, depending on.
Yeah,
piece of
could
magic.
just sit there and look pretty. I'm still waiting to see if 60 said anything. Doogie Rev. I don't know what that means. So Rev to what?
I haven't gotten up the guts to put my CPUs on diamonds ways like that. Twisted 45 degrees, but it does look cool.
And it buys you a little more space. You can cram just a few more pins in. So
there's 2 mega RAM on it. So
yeah,
it does something.
And then what does this do? This looks like a cartridge connector. So is this a cartridge?
Well,
there's no comments. Like couldn't look
at
at
that headers for programming the
converter.
What was that, Nick?
I wonder if it's implementing a gimme chip add-on.
For Dragon, maybe?
Well, I don't know. It's got the 2 mega RAM and
Yeah, 2 megs of static RAM, so it's free to do anything really. Holy smokes!
Yeah, like I said, I know we've showed it before, like a few weeks back when he had a previous update, but it kind of explained in context, and I didn't get time to look today to find one of his old posts.
I'm just seeing one of the current posts. One of the current posts just says, just wanted to tell everyone about my 2 meg memory expansion board I've been working on. That just makes that one statement here.
Okay.
60 just said in the chat, he says, I think someone was doing a cartridge-based RAM expansion, weren't they? The name is familiar too. So that'd be kind of interesting that you don't have to do it on the motherboard with the soldering and mods. You just plug it in the cartridge port and go.
With what's here, doesn't it?
That's what it looks like.
The header looks like a programming header.
So that would make some sense, because I know Spectral did some cartridge expansion for 64K way back in the day, before people started actually taking all the chips out and replacing them.
So the U2 is the magic MMU that he's programmed up somehow.
Probably,
to cram
yeah.
this 2 megs into 64K.
And I know Per has been working on getting Nitrostein level 2 working with 2 meg upgrades. Well, trying to. He's been working on it for a while now, but trying to get level 2, like the CoCo 3 version with the 8K MMU blocks and stuff running on one of the other RAM expansion, maybe this one as well. So that makes some sense too.
U2, it's a Yulin chip.
Next up, Julian Brown has a couple of updates. The first one here is posted his Dragon replacement board and some notes of RAM access design changes that he's been doing, which is a bit more too technical for me to understand, so I'll let you hardware guys kind of think about it. So he's previously had targeted the chip enable signal for controlling what gets exposed to the data bus, but this has proven to be a nightmare for timing, as the static RAM responds too quickly to address changes, and the address bus is unstable too much of the time. This time around, I've designed the board to latch the row and column address values and just don't care about the chip enable. The RASCAS timing is always correct, as is the chip enable and write enable signal, so no more time wasted on trying to frame the data access precisely to avoid exposing the wrong data. Well, at least that's the theory. So,
nice. It's been my heartache for the last 5 years is new chips are so fast that you can't just do the logical thing. You've got to, okay, I'm going to have to delay myself just a second here. And I understand his pain.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Well, the nice thing about static RAM is the Gimme X and Gimme Z, if you put static RAM in there where it no longer needs that sequence for doing dynamic RAM refresh, that's what enables the turbo mode. We can run at almost 3 megahertz.
Exactly.
In fact, it's required for that. You can't do that with dynamic RAM. So I guess it's kind of, advantages and disadvantages both ways. I definitely like the extra speed, though. I'd take it in a second.
Well, the thing is that we're doing it wrong. Sometimes the original design did it wrong because that was what they needed to make it work. And now you're trying to back out of their corrections, and it just becomes a mess. So good luck with anyone who's attempting this stuff. My hat's.
Yeah, and this sounds like a really easy way, like, and with me not understanding the hardware fully, but it sounds like a much easier solution in general. And not having any of the issues he was having before.
Right, just don't care really cuts down on the number of errors you can get.
Yeah, isn't that Microsoft's programming motto? Don't care.
Don't worry, Mon.
Yeah, don't care and send your subscription fee monthly.
Right.
He also released update 6 on his video blogs he's been doing on YouTube lately, and this is implementing the code. So he's talking about using the modern chips. I can't remember if he's using a CPLD or FPGA. I think it's CPLD in this case. And now he's talking about implementing the SAM, is what I understand. Part 2 of implementing the SAM. I have not had a chance to watch this yet because it just got posted like an hour and a half ago or something. So I can't really say too much comment on it. But his other ones have been very informative and kind of, design changes as he goes on trying to get this. And I think this is his whole updated board where he's got the 2 meg implemented with the 8K MMU blocks, some advanced graphics and sound added to it. I think he's got RS-32 high speed RS-32 and stuff implemented. It's a lot going beyond replace the motherboard of some of the original projects he did, where this is like a new Dragon with expanded capabilities. but still being basically backwards compatible from what I understand. So I'll let you guys review that and maybe talk about it next week because I didn't get a chance to review it at all. Next after that, Chris Burke of Burke and Burke fame, of course, creator of the most successful hard drive interface the Coco had, the Coco XT, and he also did some software. He did 609 enhanced versions of BASIC. He did Hyper IO, which allowed disk basic programs to access the hard drives as well. He also sold like Dagger Patch and did a bunch of utilities like EasyGen, etc. So quite famous. He's also the guy who was doing the Rocket board, which was an add-on 16-bit CPU you could plug into a Coco 3. Unfortunately, he didn't get enough orders to make it so that he could actually get to the point of actually selling it because you need a certain number of orders to make it financially feasible. But he did demonstrate some of the stuff, and originally it was going to be a 68,000, I think, and then it ended up being upgraded to a 68340 before it got canceled, but looked pretty interesting. Anyway, he's been fiddling around with Doom and trying to get it, he's thinking about trying to get it to run the Coco 3. Now, whether he'd be able to do this with a stock Coco 3, if it requires like a Gimme X or a Gimme Z to give the extra burst of speed and a 639, maybe also for a bit of extra burst of speed. Glen Hewlett might be able to talk about some of these things here a little bit later on. But basically what he's trying to do right now is he's trying to come up with dither patterns to fit the Doom 256 color palette onto the 16 color palette of a Coco 3. So he's been doing some experiments with dithering patterns. He's been doing some experiments of what's a good base color set to cover the palette that Doom itself uses. And he's put up multiple posts this week. I'll just cover a couple of them in here. This one here is basically he's taken the Linux version of Doom and he's changed it to run in a lower resolution that kind of matches what he'd be doing on the Coco 3 with the 16 color limit and the dithering patterns to kind of replace the actual graphics kind of on the fly. So this is not running on a Coco. This is not running on an emulated Coco, but this is just to show what the color palette and the resolution would look like if you implement it the current way he's thinking about doing it. Which, you know, makes some of the background text a little bit hard to read, obviously, but it's good enough for the menus and stuff. And to be honest, once you get in there, you're just killing things you don't really care anyway.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Doom.
Yeah, and we've seen Doom on, you know, on some lower hardware before that looks kind of pixelated, et cetera, too. But it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's definitely recognizable. Now, we have seen some texture mapped demos on the Coco 3 before. Remy made that one that I actually did do with some optimizations for the 609, and it still is only getting maybe 5-6 frames a second. Now, I didn't optimize it quite as much as I could have if I had the original source. But to make a whole game around it, maybe Nick, you can talk about this because your game Gatecrasher was based on the engine that Sockmaster did called Gloom. And Gloom ran pretty smooth and pretty fast, but you have to add a game with sound effects and reading joysticks or keyboard and AI and adding figures and stuff to it. Like, how much did it slow down compared to the demo?
Well, I used a lower res as well, so it wasn't too bad. I think my Gatecrasher game could be, if I was to do it today, it could be faster. And but getting these sort of textures that you're seeing now on the screen, yeah, that's going to be a lot of work to do. I don't think the CoCo 3 will be able to pull that off.
Yeah, I think Remy's demo is the only texture mapped 3D demo I've seen on the Coco, and it's kind of a forced demo, like it follows a certain script.
Yeah, it's quite fast. Again, as you say, you don't have the game elements in there, so that would slow it down a bit more. Wouldn't be as fast as what the demo shows.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember too. Like, I think he's running, I can't remember if he's running 256 by 192 or if he's doing 320 by 192 16 colors. So it'd be comparable. Now, if you calculate it as if a 160 mode or something like that, you know, shrunk it down to the res like Rescue and Fractalus or Cronus Rift has, where you do half the amount of memory to move around, like maybe you could get the speed back up.
Yeah.
But, you know, if it required a 609, so you can use some of the math and stuff here to make things faster. TFMs, if you're drawing certain shapes or certain patterns, might help. Gimme X or Gimme Z, cranking the speed up to 2.86 definitely would help a lot. I've seen how much a difference it made on Fractalus. You know, it's a huge noticeable difference. But yeah, so basically that's what his demo here is showing. And then some previous posts he did, he was fiddling around with the palettes to make sure that, you know, if you play Doom, and maybe if you haven't, but if you have played Doom, you know that as your character gets more and more wounded, it kind of changes the palette. So it's kind of like gets red and bloody, like, you know, blood's running in your eyes or something like that. So he's kind of experimenting with the palettes to see how that effect would look. Would it start looking like a gradual change, or is it just jumps? We kind of talked about that. And then here's his original palette doom. So you can see the original palettes on the bottom, and then the dithered versions of it here to try to fake the colors as close as you can. Because he did mention on the video demo there, he's using the original Doom assets, converting them on the fly. He's not pre-programmed them to be dithered, which would help speed up. Obviously, you wouldn't have to like remap every single pixel you're drawing otherwise.
And
anyway, I'm
maybe
interested to see. Like, he's not promising it'll be done, but he said it might require you to run an emulator and overclock, which I mean, pretty well all the emulators let you do at this point.
Yeah, pretty well have to. Wolfenstein 3D would be a better candidate than Doom for the CoCo.
Yeah, I would agree. Wolfenstein has wall textures, but there's basically nothing on the floor and the ceiling. So you can skip that whole chunk. The Remy demo, on the other hand, is using all of them. So, and that ran, like I said, even just with 6 or 9 patches and not as much as it could have been, is running 4 to 5 frames a second at a higher res and texture mapping everything. So maybe. But yeah, I would assume like lower res would definitely be a requirement. And the extra speed on that might be enough to make a good go of it. I don't know about having background sound, like maybe you would require having a sound speech back, which we'll get into another story about that soon. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff happening there. I'm really curious to see where Chris can take this. Erico posted another little animated GIF update to his tank game. This one he labeled as having a meteor impact area. So he's actually got some of the tanks are driving around, plus you can see some of the other creatures driving around. And you can see some of the tanks being steered here. You can see some of these alien creatures coming out. And there's some tanks can blast through the terrain, blast through walls, etc. Some of them, some are destructive, some are not. But then there's a meteor impact at some point in here, which I can't remember how far in it is. And I'm sure he'll come on and do an update in the future too to explain where the game's going. But it looks pretty darn good. And I think if I remember correctly, he's doing this in Micro Games Basic too. So this is not machine language per se. It's actually a basic compiler, a modern basic compiler. And Micro Games Basic also allows you to do cross-platform development. So I don't know if Erico's planning on maybe putting this in the Apple II, which also shares artifact colors. But that would be a pretty good target for it as well. Next about that, we have fellow Aussie to Nick, Brian Palmer. And I don't quite understand what is happening here from reading the description. I know Simon's kind of been getting involved with it, but he was drawing some stuff with H circles, and he said he's getting extra circles on the screen. Now, I was reading the comments a little bit later, trying to figure out what he's talking about, because I've never seen that behavior in BASIC, where you do one H circle and it draws like 5. But apparently they've done a poke to leave the screen alone, and then switching between modes, like HSCREEN 2, 3, 4, 1, 0, whatever. I'm thinking it maps the same graphics RAM, the same starting point for graphics RAM, no matter what mode you're in. But some of the modes require more memory, so maybe you're drawing a circle that's lower on the screen on one that takes 32K. When you switch to a 16K screen, now it remaps to go up there. So all of a sudden the circle's being drawn in the first 16K chunk instead of the second. And maybe it's because they did a poke not to clear the screen automatically on an HSCREEN. It might be just you're seeing the residue left over. It's kind of like doing P mode 4 and then switching to P mode 0 or vice versa, where you start seeing other stuff, that you drew before but didn't clear with a PCLS. So I'm kind of guessing that might be what's happening, but yeah, I haven't had time to delve into this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
And if that is the case, that's a pretty simple explanation for it. Next up, Alex Redman posted, this is kind of cool. I do remember this program being advertised called Basic Freedom, which is a basic program editor, a commercial one back in the 80s for the CoCo 3 specifically. And it was meant to be a whole bunch of keyboard shortcuts and stuff and some extra functionality keys to make basic programming a heck of a lot easier. Now, I believe the program itself is on the archive, but the manual's missing. Nobody's been able to scan it. So what he did here is he actually went through and reverse engineered and found all the hotkeys, which he's shared here. And I'll just mention the keys there for those of you who've not ever heard of this program before. If you're doing a lot of basic programming, this might actually be kind of handy. So the F2 key activates and toggles basic freedom on or off if you want to turn it off or turn it on. You can have 4-way cursor control on the screen, kind of like a screen editor with the arrow keys. Shift left will delete a character and shift the text after it left. Shift right will insert. These are kind of similar to some stuff we got in Nitrous 9, actually. hit enter to access and process the edited basic line. So this is kind of like what the deluxe color computer have. You can go in and edit the line on screen, or like the Apple II and C64 do, where you can go edit the line on the screen, you hit enter, and then it updates the changes on it. Basic Freedom also has special break handling to leave the current edit alone. Control S inserts the literal up arrow character rather than treating up as a cursor movement. So that's because the cursor keys are normally used in this when you're running Basic Freedom to actually move the cursor around. If you need to type in the up arrow character, you just hit Control S instead. So it's basically a full screen editor for CoCo 3 for basic programs. So I think that'd be something kind of fun for people that do basic programming. I'm thinking TR-City retro programming in particular, because he always really was jealous of the C64 and the Apple II having the ability to go up and edit lines rather than using edit. Now, I'm of the school of thought that there's positives and minuses to both. Editing this stuff on the screen is nice in certain cases. On the other hand, having the edit command where you hit 3S5 and it'll search for the third S, on the line you're editing and just jump there straight away. Or you could type 80 and go down one line instantly type thing if you do need to do that. Or you can do searches and exchanges and inserts and deletes and hack the end of the line off. Like, it's pretty powerful once you get used to it. It's on its own. It's actually not that bad. But yeah, I do see advantages to both methods depending on what you're trying to do. Mark, since you have obviously feet in both camps, or just put headphones on, Mark, since you've had your feet in both camps of using a full screen editor in the Apple II and also using the edit command on the CoCo, do you see one that's better than the other, or do you kind of waver between them depending on what you're doing?
Well, actually, I haven't really learned how to use the edit command on the CoCo 3.
Okay, because it's the same as the IBM PC, basically. So if you've
question.
Well, actually, I never really used IBM Basic either. I mean, when I started programming on the PC, I was using, I skipped Pascal, I went to C. So.
Okay, well, maybe you're the wrong person to ask. I thought it'd be the right one.
Yeah, I do have a contribution here. In Basic 09, I either use the Basic 09 editor or Dynastar, depending on what the heck I'm doing. It really.
I use VED, but yeah, same thing.
Sometimes the text editor is what you need, and sometimes the line editor is what you need. That's just life.
Yeah,
I wish
kind of
everyone
depends.
had both.
The built-in one in Basic 09 has actually got wildcard search and replace and stuff too on all lines. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When I do use that sometimes, I mean, VED allows me to duplicate that functionality within the text editor, the full screen editor. But and to answer William Anthony's question in the chat, doesn't the CoCo Deluxe have full screen editing? Yes, it does. It's actually very similar to Basic Freedom.
I actually remember using Edline on the PC, which was a text editor. You do stuff a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Was that like edit? And that was,
yeah, it's similar. When I remember,
the thing about the Apple II that you have to remember is that when you type a character, it goes in the keyboard buffer, or when you pass the cursor over a character, it goes in the keyboard buffer. Oh. But that mode there's a movement mode, and then there's basically the capture mode or whatever. So as long as you can keep the two, in your mind, which one's which, you could do all kinds of funky stuff. So it's really easy when the 80 column stuff is active on the Apple II E and C and GS. When you're in 40 column mode and the 80 column card is active, you get a little plus sign when you're in the escape mode. So you tap escape, you get a plus, you move the cursor around to whatever, tap escape again, and then as you move the cursor to the right, it picks up whatever characters they are. So it's really easy to move to a spot, capture a line, add some stuff, and you can actually insert stuff too. What you do is you basically move to a point and then escape back to movement mode, jump down a line, and then go back into edit mode, type in your stuff, and then go back to movement mode, go back to where it left off, and then pick up the rest of the line, up to 256 characters. That's the length of the buffer. So if you know what you're doing, you can actually do pretty well. I mean, it's not
now,
like
is the C64s like that? I know they have the awkward cursor keys because you have to, shift or something to switch up and down and left and right?
Yeah, well, there's an up, down key and a left, right key, and, one mode shift is for one and non. The thing about the 64 is it remembers the whole line. So if you ever want to do that sort of stuff with the C64, let's say you have a line and you want to reuse it. Maybe it's a command to run. If you type run, anything else on that line will mess up your command. It'll assume you're going to try to load stuff. So the trick with that is you just put a colon in like a basic. Say run colon, and then it just gets around to executing the other command eventually after you're done with your program.
After the run. Okay.
Yeah, after the run. So that's the thing with the 64 is you have to know that it remembers the rest of the line, whereas the Apple II doesn't. So
Yeah.
Anyway.
And if I remember, the deluxe version was remembering the line because you could insert
Right.
and stuff and just hit enter to get out of it, and it would
Right. And it would
accept the
pick up
rest of the
whole thing.
line as well as the changes you did.
Right. And whereas the standard Coco, it forgets the rest of the line just like the Apple does. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, edit, you got the option. Like if you want to just, edit something on the line, then get rid of the rest of the line, you just hit H for hack and it hacks the line off right
Hacks
at
off.
cursor position.
Cool.
Yeah. But you can do
Okay.
insert, you can delete, like you hit 20D and it deletes the next 20 characters. Like you can do all kinds of things. Like once you get used to it, it's actually quite quick.
Right. But there's a learning curve there. So
yes.
yeah, it's stuff
Yeah,
I
it's a
haven't
little bit
tackled
like
yet.
And if you came from Edlin, you probably know most of those already because that's what Edlin
Right.
was based on, really, or vice versa.
Is
But
it? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm not
remember
sure which one
Edlin
came
a
out
lot.
first.
I used Edlin for a very brief time, like in 1985, and then I moved on to other stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, for most of that time, I used this. There was this utility called Pathminder from a company called Westlake Data. I think they were from Texas, and they had like a shell, a DOS shell, but they had a built-in editor, and that was so cool because you could go to your files, like you're working on a C program. You go to your files, you hit it, you hit edit, pops in the editor. You got like a 64K editor, type all your stuff, and then save it. And then you can then execute your batch script to process your, compile your stuff. So it was pretty slick actually for doing assembler in C in 1986. So
Yeah. I mean, Rick and I got spoiled because with OS 9, you have one window with your editor and the other window with your
compile
runtime if it's base 9 or your assemblers, set up and you just
so you just switch back and forth. Exactly.
Yeah. You can put them on the
Multitasking.
same screen if you wanted to. I mean,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's pretty cool. So for people who want a full screen editor for the Coco 3, download that from the archive. You've now got instructions that were have been lost. I don't know if there's any extra features on there that he hasn't discovered yet, because I don't know if he just tried keys and see what happened, or if he disassembled the program to figure out. Maybe there's some other hidden features in there. I don't know too much about it, but I do remember seeing ads for it. Next up that we got Don Sorensen. And he's posted photos of a duplicate Coco 3 motherboard from Scott at Tuck's Workbench. This is the Athena board that I think, isn't that Pedro Pena's board?
Yes, I believe so.
Athena?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Isn't
Yeah.
that his Coco 3 duplicate motherboard he did?
Okay. I was thinking Athena was something that Bob did, but okay. Yeah.
Well, Bob's here,
No,
so we can
Athena's
ask
the
him.
keyboard.
Yeah, that's right. Athena's the keyboard. That's Bob's thing. I don't remember what the clone of that is. I just
because
say
it says
Athena.
Athena on here. So
That's,
Oh, it
that's
does say
Pedro.
Athena.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Athena is Pedro's Coco 3 board.
okay, so I did have the right.
And you can see the gimme socket right there in the middle.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, Don has been posting a lot of stuff because he's picked up various Cocos. He's got them all cleaned up. He's the one who also figured out the exact right shade of silver, and then also the little cheat where if you paint everything else around it the right color, you won't even notice it's a little bit off unless you pull it right next to a real one. But he actually picked up one of these boards. He's got a bunch of the parts. I'm not sure where he's getting the gimme or if he's going to try to get a gimme Z from Alan.
He's a little
unfortunately, those
confused on
sell it
that.
as soon as they come out, so it's hard to get those.
Yeah, he's a little confused on that. He was thinking that you could just buy a gimme from like DigiKey, and there's a similar number, the TCC 1014 or whatever number does appear, but it's not anything to do with us. Tandy Computer Corporation is long gone, and TCC is what anyone wants to use. So
And we can't just ask AI to make us one.
well, you could. Would it work? No, but you could ask it.
I mean, I think there should be a revision of the Athena board that supports the 2 Meg RAM and the Gimme Z, like built right onto the motherboard rather than being a little satellite thing.
Oh, right.
And
That
then
would
you could
be
sell it as a
really
kit
sweet.
with that. And then that would be awesome because then you could actually run the 2.86 megahertz turbo mode too.
Ditch the RF can.
Yeah, actually build
Yeah,
in
just
the
put a-
HDMI, build
Put
in
on
the
the
HDMI out
HDMI
stuff
socket.
too. Yeah,
Right. Where the RF can goes. Yeah.
that'd be pretty cool. Because then we'd actually have a replacement that's an upgrade and backwards compatible.
Yep.
This is a great Coco project. I would really like to have the time to just build my
Well,
own like this.
Pedro Pena's boards are open source. I mean, you can grab them and modify them. I think he used
Right.
KiCad. So you could
Yeah.
take that basic design and hack on the HDMI
Oh,
directly.
do whatever
onto
you
it.
want. Yeah.
Yeah, and
There you
we've
go.
talked to both him and Alan on different times there about them getting together to do something like that, and they both sound like they were interested in doing that. I think the problem is that the Gimme Z is selling out so fast, Alan just can't keep up with it. I mean, he didn't plan this on being a business.
I don't need another way to sell it. I can't sell the ones I got.
Well, he's basically, as soon as he puts up a batch of like 10, it's
They're
already
gone.
pre-spoken
Yeah.
for or gone within
I
seconds.
don't need another way to sell these. I need to make another 10. Right?
And I know, was it he that wanted to pause for making them because he wants to do some modifications and make a new board run of something with some improvements to it or something on the hardware side?
I didn't hear
Yeah,
that was
that's-
possible.
That's the problem with being a hardware vendor is,
Yeah.
do you support
Yeah.
what you got? Do you break more? I don't have money for a development department, so
Well, it's like
Yeah,
the CoCoSTC and the
where do I spend my
CoCoSTC 2, which was basically done, and then the main chip the CoCoSTC 2 is supposed to use got canceled and end of lifed. So now they're having to redo it yet again. So people are just buying the original CoCoSTC instead of just waiting until that everything gets caught up.
right.
Yeah, the thing about the Gimme Z or anything like that is that how many Coco 3s are there and how many want to upgrade? The cool thing about integrating it directly into a new board like that is that you don't have to worry about you're making the Coco 3 to go with it.
This would be the
It's
Coco
like-
3 Plus or
Right.
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
It's
and
going
like
to fit the parts
every-
that it runs with.
Yeah, and everybody that wants a Coco 3, hey, you can buy this because these are current.
Yeah,
And
and
they
it
just
has
done.
improvements, and it also
Yep.
has more backwards compatibility than the actual Coco 3 does because it actually supports semi-graphics and stuff too. So
There
Yep.
you go. Exactly.
yeah, I would
That
love
would
to
be cool.
see them collaborate on this, and if the programming for the Gimme Z is released as public, somebody else can actually take the mantle of actually manufacturing these, and all you need is a case, which we'll be covering a little bit about a Coco 3 case duplication 3D printed a little bit later in the news too.
Cool.
You could almost get everybody together and actually sell Coco 3s brand new with new features again.
There you go.
So, oops, did I duplicate one there? I bet you I did. Hi, speaking of HDMI, Bradley Goldsmith, who we covered the last few weeks, is working on a cartridge for HDMI out. Has got an update on this. He had some issues originally with it not working properly in the multi-pack. That has now been fixed. And he gives a complete technical thing explaining what he had to change and get it to work. I'm not going to cover all that here, but I did want to show some pictures here. So he's got the HDMI output going over there. He's got a multi-pack clone in here, and he's actually got some like a SDC and his HDMI card all installed, and it's actually displaying the SSC Explorer, etc. properly. You can see his fonts obviously a
Nice.
little bit cleaner than what we're used to, but
Yeah, it looks good. That's a Coco 2 also.
Yep. So anyway, yeah, it looks like it's coming along pretty good actually. Like I said, if you guys want a technical explanation of what he had to change to get it to work properly with a multi-pack, you can go through that. I'm not going to go through that on the show. It's a pretty lengthy explanation, but it's on the Coco Facebook group. Next up, and I will let Glenn jump in on this one as well. Coco Disk Basic Standalone Assembly Library. So one thing that Nick and I have both hit is that the built-in ROM routines for Disk Basic suck if you just want to deal at a file level access because it's very raw. It's like seek the head to a track and seek to track 0 and read a sector and write a sector, but it's file system. Who needs that? And you have to be able to know how to update granule, allocation tables and the directory tables and. Are you going to do anything extended with different numbers of tracks than standard Disk Basic handled? Do you want to handle double-sided drives and all this kind of stuff? So my understanding is that Glenn has made a library here that you can call these routines that actually will clock down to single speed to allow it to access the disk controller without having to change all the timing. Nitrous 9, we kind of cheated, just redid the timing for 2 megahertz anyway. But it would allow you to actually do file level access stuff. You can say, I want to open and create a file here on drive 2 or whatever, and here's the name of it. And then it does all the allocation itself. Have I got that kind of right, Glenn, since you're actually on the call today?
Yep, you got it right, Curtis.
Okay.
I guess
Now,
as the article says.
Yeah, like you said, you can
Sorry,
handle
go ahead.
functions load M, save M, sequential reading bytes from a file, sequential writing bytes to a file. I'm assuming at this point you don't have random access?
Correct. Yeah.
Are you planning on adding that? Because I know some games might like that kind of.
Yeah, I wasn't originally because I don't know, it's a little bit more tricky. But the reason I wrote this stuff was because of my basic compiler. I've been working with Bruce Moore, or Bruce, sorry.
Yeah, Bruce Moore, the guy's working on that new adventure game. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's been using the compiler and coming up with all kinds of ideas to commands to add to it. And one was a chain command where you could, have your program running, and then if you run out of RAM or whatever, you can use this chain command and load in a second program and then have that run.
Yeah, and leave the variables
certain,
over.
certain part of RAM for your variables, whatever. So basically, you could have a program that would go on
It's
and
a
on.
whole disk. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and that's what
They
Deluxe
call that overlay.
Yeah, Deluxe Color Basic did that too. You could specify which variables you wanted to pass, though they had some limitations on the alpha version we've seen. I don't think they handled strings, for example, or arrays or something like that. There was some limitation to it, but you could say pass all the variables or just these certain ones. And, chain programs together, like you said, so that you can make a program bigger than the 32K limit that Basic normally has.
Yeah, it's a great idea. So I already had LOADM working in the compiler, so adding chain wasn't too difficult except for figuring out a specific location in RAM that wouldn't get overwritten by another program, right? When you load in the new version, you don't want to overwrite the actual disk routines that are doing the loading itself.
Yeah.
So figuring that out made me realize, when I'm writing my own programs, loading and saving to disk is always such a pain. So maybe I should build these features into the compiler and then just make a separate library, which this GitHub post is all about, to make it easier for anybody who wants to write their own assembly codes or assembly programs using these features. Because like you were saying, trying to manipulate files on the disk is such a pain from assembly language. Like, I don't know.
It's
I've
too
never
primitive.
really liked, and interfacing with the disk ROMs is a pain because then you have to make sure they're enabled, so you can't really use the full 64K at the same time.
Yeah, plus you have all those direct page variables you have to keep around. And,
Yeah, exactly. So it's all that headache. So this is a standalone library, basically does those features from this basic, but you can just include this library in your own assembly language and just call it very simply, just tell it where your file name is and tell it, okay, I want to load this into RAM. So it does all the work for you.
Yeah. So what size of disks does it handle? Do you handle double-sided drives, 40/80 track, that kind of thing?
No, it's nothing special. It's just the standard 35
track single-sided.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still 153K per
but it
disk.
will,
I mean, yeah.
It will access all 4 drives, like 0 to 3. So you at least have that flexibility if you need it.
And obviously that would work with a CoCoSTC if you're using a drive, whatever, because that's going through the drive wire routines. Or is it too low level that it's only physical disks?
Yeah,
or
I don't think the
STC
drive wire
short
one will
drives?
work because this is all direct. Like I used the code that was in disk basic, the diskon routine.
Okay, so you're talking
Like,
directly to the WD 1793, 1773 type thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so that would work
So
with the
it's-
STC because it emulates that at a hardware level, but DriveWire would bypass it because you have to do.
Yeah,
higher
you
level
just have
calls,
to
right?
type like drive on or drive off to change it between the SDC emulated drives and the physical drives.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. I have tested it using the CoCoSTC, used MAME and a real floppy drive and controller on my Coco 3, and it seems to work fine. So
Yeah.
but I haven't used DriveWire in years myself, but the way
I'm pretty sure it
accessing
won't
the
work because I know
drive,
it breaks
don't
with
think it'll
software
work.
that tries to talk directly to the disk controller, so
Yeah.
can't really intercept that. I wanted to address a comment by Mikey in the chat here. He said, what about DOS by Robert Kilgus? That's the one we picked up the source code, and it also came with color disk EdTASM. He said, I think the disk-based Scriptsit is based off that. Yeah, Scriptsit, Disk Spectaculator, Edtasm. And this is something that Robert gave up a lot of royalties with Tandy because he wanted this to go out as a set of these routines. And he's got some extra stuff in there too. It's not just the load and save and sequential file write and read. It also has like real-time clock options and a bunch of other things too. And he gave all the documentation up to Tandy and said, I want a one-time payment, not that much, and share it with any developer that wants it. And Tandy promptly didn't do anything except to send it to Microsoft. So they used it in a couple other things. So that's another option. I'm trying to remember, Brian, do you remember the version that we got from Robert, the last version he did? Is that later than the ones that were commercially sold?
I'm not sure. I can't remember, no.
But I do know he had like full documentation for it, which we need to get scanned on the archive so people can give that a shot too.
It wasn't until years later that I figured out how valuable the code in the back of the disk Edtasm manual could have been if I'd only known what it was.
Yeah, because it's not really well explained in there. I didn't know what it was.
No, they
for
just
either.
printed it in the back of the book and not why or how or what for.
Like I thought it was rather dumb because you fire up the color TRS DOS that he called it, and then you have like, real-time clock. Oh, cool. It throws it up in the corner. You can't set the time. Like, what use is that? It's a timer then basically. Well, that's because you were supposed to follow his instructions. That was just a sample, to throw it up and show you type thing, but it had a lot of features too. Now, one thing I don't remember, and I don't know if Brian would remember either, is the size of Robert's, because it's a bit more extensive than Glen's. So I was going to ask Glen, how big is your library that covers these basic functions here compared to the 6.5K, 7K ROM that the Color Disk Basic ROM is?
I can't remember. I'm
assuming it's smaller.
When I was working on the chain command, that was like only 512 bytes or less. Because I made one that would chain directly off the CoCo SDC. And since the SDC already has writing directly to the file system, the FAT32 file system on it built in, that was really small. But the version I wrote for Disk Basic, it wasn't that much bigger. So like I say, I think it's around 512 bytes for the chain command. But as far as the library itself, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be like less than 2K.
Okay, so far less than
pretty
the
compact.
6.5K that they did for the
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I should post that info on the GitHub here.
Now, does it require
update it at some
64K RAM to run, or is it built to run in the RAM space if you only have 32 or 16 or whatever?
Yeah, it'll run in 16.
Okay.
So you don't need anything, just the program itself and the library, and you can do whatever you want with the disks.
Yeah, and you've got some pretty extensive docs here, like how to control the disk motor control, owning the non-maskable interrupt, which it uses to break out of loops to read and write sectors.
Yeah. All these docs were actually written by Codex, the AI assistant.
Oh, okay.
From ChatGPT. It's so good at these documents, and I've actually been using it for helping me with coding too. So good.
Yeah,
at
that seems to be a
finding
more
bugs in
common
your
kind of thing here,
program.
though. We have some people that are insisting on not doing that. Well, actually, that'll be coming up with another update later on. But yeah, a lot of people are using it. Some are using it for docs, some are using it for writing code, some are using it for aiding writing code, some are getting it to write basically almost the entire thing. And
well,
it's nice to have the varieties. You can get to
I'm
choose
in
your
there
path.
too. It's like, it's like if you want to go low level yourself, go ahead. And if you want to just tell it to do something, go ahead. Like I say, I love it for debugging. It's like, oh, this isn't doing what it's supposed to do. Can you look at it? And 5 minutes later, it's like, oh, yeah, you have a typo here. It's like, oh, it's some certain typos you would spend days looking at without finding them. So,
you forgot the number sign on a load A or something.
Right. It's not just misspelling.
exactly.
You've done something really strange in the parentheses or
Yeah, and you can't see it even though you look at it 10 times.
Yeah, your brain kind of
Those
fills
things
in
are-
what it's supposed to do, and that's fine.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. Anyway, yeah, it's freely available on his GitHub, and links and stuff are in the show notes that you can get off the Discord. Next up, we have Alan Huffman on his Subetha Software blog posting an old video taken in January of 1987. So this is just a few months after the CoCo 3 release. And I think ColorMax, the original ColorMax 3 had just come out. It was actually the first 3D or the first graphics editor for the CoCo 3, besides a few written in BASIC as quick hacks. That was a decent one. And at the time, Alan was actually making videos and stuff. And he's actually done some even back in the CoCo 1 and 2 days that he'd done some previous videos on of making, splash screens and stuff for, advertisements for, companies or whatever. And this is one he actually did where he actually wrote his own machine language routines to actually do some scrolling, etc. back in 1987. So this is something he did on his CoCo 3, and you would just record onto VHS tape, and then you'd actually have whatever the video was supposed to be about with, live people and whatever afterwards. But this was using the CoCo 3 to actually make the video titles. He pulled this off one of his old VHS tapes. And some 80s style music in the background, of course, heavy in the synth. So he had his own, fonts in there that he used. I do remember some CoCo 1 and 2 era stuff there where they actually drew semi-graphics borders around stuff and used that for intros on tapes too. And there you can tell that's kind of a CoCoMax style thing. I'm pretty sure it's ColorMax 3 though, because I don't think CoCoMax 3 was out until later in 87, if I remember. Anyway, for those of you who have been wondering, did we ever use our CoCo 3s and CoCo 1s and 2s for serious stuff instead of just playing games or whatever? Yes. Yes, we did. Next after that, we have Mathew Ward. And he's been going through the assembly language graphics for the two-sided color computer by Don and Kurt Inman, which is a father-son team. Don was a regular columnist in Rainbow in the early 80s. And this is actually the one that I first started to learn machine language graphics and sound through, because to me, it was a better explanation, or at least easier for me to understand than the Barden books were. The Barden books had a bit more tech jargony that, I did quite grasp at the time. I mean, I could look at it now, it's fine. But this is the one that kind of broke the barrier for my brain to start comprehending this stuff. And he did a sample video showing example program 25 that combines tech graphics and text using machine code with BASIC. Now, it's pretty slow, so I'm not sure how much BASIC he's using here versus machine language, and I don't have the book handy anymore to check. Fast forward a bit here. So you got a little binary program that he's loading in the background. He's got a clear to protect some variable space, and then he runs the program itself. It's a little bit of artifacted graphics. Not on purpose. Now he switched it back to mono. But basically, it's animate this hook to go get the chair. Now, at the speed it's drawing this stuff right now, to me, this looks like all BASIC. I'm not sure what the machine language part is doing. Because this doesn't look like it's running at an incredibly fast speed. I have to see the source code. Maybe they were calling ROM routines and showing how to do that. I don't know what lesson 25 was in specific. But as he mentions in his post there, he said he understood nothing about machine language at all. And now that he's been going through this book, he's actually starting to understand. And that was the same experience I had, because I had tried the Barden book first and it just didn't register my brain properly. So this is the one that actually made it. And they actually get to the point where they actually showed it make a little Space Invaders game. Next up, and this is what I was hinting at earlier, Brenda Make. I'm not quite can't remember how to pronounce her name because I haven't seen her in a while. But she's actually been working on a 3D printed CoCo 3 case replacement. And as she mentioned in her post here, it was warm enough in the rest of the house to take apart my CoCo 3. I wasn't looking forward to opening a 1987 computer that's nearly dead mint. Even smells like the plastic, but it's done. I measured it for the 3D printable CoCo 3 replacement case. I even got the chance to use the 3D printed radius gauge and stuff that I downloaded, and caught a mistake when she was on the designing here, but it looks like she's working on getting something that will completely replace a CoCo 3 case using a 3D printer. And there's some little mount things here for SD cards and stuff too. So looks like a pretty interesting project. We'll have to keep an eye on it.
Those a triple fan in the bottom. Holy smokes.
Or you got room for some of the other, expansion boards. I know Bob does this type of thing where he tucks it under the main board.
Yeah, you could put a lot of stuff in that case. It's got force
there's a fair bit of room
and everything. Yeah. Awesome.
Like here, you can see the top part of the case has been redesigned. This indentation, I don't know if that's like a 3.5-inch floppy or what that is, but you got fans you can put there. You got the 2 SD cards here. Maybe you build the SDC right into the machine itself, and you can just have your SD card. So yeah, it definitely looks interesting. And couple this with the Athena board and stuff here and the Gimme Z, you could theoretically make an entire Coco 3 case and all and sell it with a ton of enhancements.
Right, it's an Amiga, but it's only a 6309.
Yeah, overclocked, of course. Coco Town came out with another interesting one, so he took another bit of a pause from doing his Moon Patrol style game. And this one is talking about copy protection. As he titles it here, 80s video game copy protection was insane. And he does 2 case studies here. And these are cassette-based, so I should mention that up front. This is not going to all the disc stuff that you could do all kinds of complicated, weird copy protection as well. But he covers Pack Droids by Charles Forsyth for the Programmers Guild, which had a bunch of weird loading stuff on tape too. And then the one that he really delves into is Super Kid, which is originally a Dragon game with speech synthesis, multi-voice music, multi-plane scrolling graphics. It's actually quite an interesting game just even of itself, but some of the weird stuff they did in the loader on that one was the point where it would load in encrypted stuff and it would jump. It looked like it was jumping to code that doesn't do anything, but actually what it's doing is decrypting byte by byte so that it actually would recreate the program itself as it's going through from loading stuff that looked like total garbage. And it loads in the screen in 2 vertical strips while flashing between color sets. So he has a warning, like basically if you're, susceptible to getting epileptic fits from watching flashing lights, you probably don't want to watch this video. So I'll play a little bit of the intro and I'll show you a little bit of the kind of code that's going behind both the Packdroid load and the Super Kid load, but it's pretty interesting stuff.
Packdroids has been called one of the most innovative pack-style games for any platform. It's like if Pac-Man not only ate dots and power pellets, but could shoot the ghosts. And the ghosts can leave mines behind. But to me, the most innovative thing happened before you even started to play. When you load a program from tape onto the Coco, you run the cload or cloadm command. Wait for it to load into memory, and then you execute it. But Packdroids was different. You run cloadm, but then it somehow manages to take over the machine while it's loading, and then eventually runs itself. And then there's... If there were any rules about how a program was supposed to behave, SuperKid broke them all. Everything from speeding up the pitch of the cassette audio, to encrypting its own machine code, to executing other code that isn't even code, to rewriting its instructions after it executes them to cover up its tracks, to hiding taunting messages for us as we try to learn how it works. Today we explore how programs are stored on cassette for the Coco and Dragon computers, and reverse engineer the ingenious hacks that some 80s developers used to commandeer the loading process. And without an end-of-file block after them. This is part of what confuses so many backup programs. Once they see the end-of-file block, they think they're done and completely ignore the data blocks which contain the actual game code. But even if they did continue to read the next block, they'd get confused because there was no header. They wouldn't know where to load that data to, or that it even belonged to Packdroids at all. But since Packdroid's custom loader is what's running now, it knows exactly what to do with those data blocks. It loads them starting at address hex 600, but not before it changes the video display mode and tells the video chip that screen memory shall now start at hex 600. That means that the game data doesn't actually start with code, it starts with the splash screen pixels, and they're loaded directly into the screen buffer to be displayed to the interrupts. You're probably wondering if this approach is vulnerable to crashing. What if, while CLoadM is loading the Pactroids loader into the interrupt vector, the timer happens to go on?
Then I'll skip ahead to build a
5
super
seconds
kit.
before the flashing starts, so be prepared to look away if this is bad for you. For those of you who are watching, you'll see that in addition to the flashing, we have something coming in onto the screen in stripes. And we're going to talk a little bit later about why the flashing is happening and how this stripe thing is happening. As we'll see later, I believe this flashing is completely intentional. My guess is that many people would look at it and say, oh, that's not horrendous. That is getting me really energized to play this very cool game that is causing all sorts of trauma to my TV. All right, if you looked away, it's safe to look back at the screen. Here we have our splash screen. There are only 4 colors allowed on this screen, so the artist did a nice job of mixing and matching colors to get more apparent colors out of this. You'll notice at the top that the load time is about 3 minutes, so we're just going to skip ahead to the end. Synthesized voice. And here you see it started automatically. And it's playing some nice multi-part music. In fact, we're going to skip ahead so you can hear some of the different tunes it plays. Is that it loads very early in RAM. It doesn't load over the IRQ vector, but it does load in the middle of the basic working storage area. And it starts with a whole bunch of garbage. This code does not do anything. But there are a few interesting jump instructions. Jump to 1F4. Jump to 1F4. Jump to 1F4. These jumps are being written into that area of basic working storage known as RAM vectors. RAM vectors are hooks that earlier versions of BASIC can use to allow later versions of BASIC to intercept calls. This allows, for example, disk extended color BASIC to extend a routine that was originally written in the very first color BASIC. Each of these RAM vectors only has 3 bytes reserved, which are either a return if nothing is hooking them. It's not a colon, so that's going to cause the BASIC interpreter to throw an error. That's going to send us off here to the error handler at 894.
As you can see, though, he goes into a deep dive, following the code as it's going, as it's unscrambling itself. And basically, the takeaway is that basically it takes over the IRQ routine and then never lets go. So as he jokes later in the video, basically SuperKit is one big IRQ handler as far as BASIC is concerned. The whole damn game. So, but yeah, the other thing too is that the SuperKit pitch shifted up the cassette, and I believe that means actually it loads faster. I think it actually ends up loading, and Kieran knows a lot about it. He's in the chat right now, so he can correct me if I'm wrong. But my understanding is that it basically is running the equivalent of a slightly faster baud rate, so it can actually load in the rest of the game faster, because it loads in the first part normally, because you have to be compatible with BASIC's CLOAD-M command. And once it takes over, it starts doing everything, pitched up, which means the waves are closer together. So I'm assuming it actually loads a bit faster than 1500 baud, which is another pretty cool innovation. So I'll let 60, because he's going to be a few seconds behind here, make sure I got that correct there. But yeah, it's a pretty extravagant loader program, probably the most extravagant I've ever heard of in the CoCo, especially for cassette. And it's actually a pretty darn impressive game, technically, with the multi-voice music, the speech synthesis, nice smooth scrolling multiplanar graphics. It's a pretty impressive game just in and of itself, even beyond all of this stuff. But a good case study on a couple of games and some of the innovative things they did for copy protection purposes and just to be fancy. And SuperKit is loaded with text. You can see a little bit of the screen here too. Warning, anyone found with a pirated copy of SuperKit will be beaten up by, quote, friends. No joke. Well, I can't hang around like a fart in a phone box. Bye. Like silly things like that. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. Next to that, George Jansen has released his next episode of his 689 assembly language for the CoCo 3. And this is the only video series I know of that is assembly language specifically for the CoCo 3. In this case, he's covering graphic lines and boxes, part 1. So this is assembly language routines for the higher res modes on the CoCo 3, the 16 color modes, etc. It did support several other ones. And it allows you to call routines to do individual pixels, to do specific lines, whether they're horizontal or vertical or diagonal. And he goes through the code and explains how it works, how the interface with it works, and then does some demos. So we'll skip to one of the demos here.
I didn't clean it up, optimize it or nothing. It was just my test program trying to get. Another note, some programs ask 3, 4, 5, 6. What happened to one? One was very rudimentary. One more screen. Okay, this is test line 2. I know it's not very exciting, but it was the first test program. I wanted a box 2 lines wide at these positions on the screen, light blue. Then I wanted a red line, horizontal line, 2 pixels wide here.
And you can see he's even using modes that are not standard basic. This is a 256 by 225. So the extended vertical and narrower width-wise and 16 colors.
Pixels on there. So it was a simple program, was 2. So let's take a peek
find some other little demos
at that code. Okay, lines 2 list. Vector to someplace. Just say you moved it into that by time here. Normal. It would look like. Here's test number 3, I believe. It's a bunch of boxes. It has a good effect when you're watching it there. And what I did for testing there was
each
one of these boxes of coordinates, all 4 corners, were done. I'm talking about it goes slow. If you were doing a whole bunch of lines, it would take a long
He does have a
time.
slow mode that's basically used for debugging to make sure the routine was doing it right, so you can kind of catch it where it was going wrong. It does not normally run this slow.
Test program. Again, it's going to ask us, oops, put the right program name in there. It works a lot better. And that's not the one I wanted, but we'll do it anyway. Number of dots, let's just do 2. Let's just go put a bunch of pixels on the screen.
So that's kind of the random pixel we've seen lots of demos of before.
Y42, that's the most you can get across the screen. So we'll do that and we'll execute it. And there you go, it draws in the blue and some other colors. It just keeps changing colors as it runs through there. And it draws that blue line from up in the corner down to there. So
this is just part 1 of doing the lines demos. I'm assuming he'll probably do like, instant boxes and maybe filled boxes and stuff, similar to what the line H-line command does with the (B, BF. And Nitrous 9, of course, has its own equivalents of doing those too. And we did some major optimizations. Ours is pretty fast as well, that you can call, not even just from a semi-language, but also from Basic 09 or whatever. But I like the fact that he's actually supporting graphics modes that Basic doesn't even normally support at all. So you can do some pretty interesting things with that. And I think he's already uploaded the disk image to the Coco Discord too in his own channel. Next up, this is a project similar to what, let's see, Daniel O'Connor has been doing an album lately that is being produced on the Coco 3 in specific. And I didn't realize, but this has actually been done back in 1990. So this is actually the cover of a tape. And I thought originally that this was a program tape, but it's not. It's actually music. And it was composed by a guy named Michael Milazzo. And he's using Coco MIDI Pro, the Coco 3 version, originally by Rilliford Research. I think Lester Hands or somebody had to do with that. And he's got a whole bunch of stuff like hardware. He's got Yamaha synthesizers, Roland synthesizers, drum machines, and all kinds of stuff added onto it. But he wrote an entire album of electronic music back in 1990 that is completely done on the Coco. So he composed it and everything else in Coco MIDI 3 Pro. And then he wrote this entire album. And it's got some pretty interesting stuff. And it's fairly complex, like a lot of instruments and stuff. And he's still composing music to this day, obviously with more modern tools now, but he's had multiple albums out. So let's fast forward to a different track here.
What if you could create account planning agents out of thin air to help sellers
Why is
focus
that
on the
giving me an
right
ad with
opportunities?
CoCoNation?
What if you could?
That's supposed to not happen. So they're fairly different in feel. But he's programming the drums, he's programming the synthesizers, alternate instruments stuff, all through MIDI, CoCo MIDI Pro, which I think, if I remember correctly, support up to 16 instruments at the same time. And Daniel's, of course, doing that now in modern times, doing that for creating some of her music. I'm not sure if there's albums out yet, I haven't had a chance to check, but it was just kind of interesting to see that, you know, some professional music writers actually were using CoCos for this kind of stuff. The Atari ST is probably the most famous computer back in the late 80s, early 90s to do this kind of thing because it had the MIDI interface built into the hardware right in the base machine. But we had some pretty decent MIDI stuff too. And of course, we had some pretty good MIDI supporting programs. Lyra/Lyra would handle up to 8 voices with some of the MIDI stuff. Mike Knutson did Ultimuse 3, which support up to 16-track MIDI as well. So we've had some stuff there Brian Schubring runs some demos of that stuff at the fest every year. And here's the one where the guy actually composed the music too, not just transcribed it from somewhere, but actually wrote all the stuff. And it's not somebody I'd actually heard of before, but it's pretty impressive. And like I said, they got some details here on the YouTube description, kind of explaining his setups here. He had a CoCo 3 with CoCo 3 MIDI Pro, a Roland R8 Yamaha RX-17 drum machines, FB1 sound editor, K1 sound librarian, 16 stereo grand piano module, and on and on and on. So pretty cool stuff. But and I also highlight some of his albums since, where he's done some stuff based on classical, new age, Celtic, orchestral, ambient, all kinds of stuff. And he's been doing albums. His last album that they list here is from 2024 called Ascension. So he's still doing this even now, 35 years later. So that's pretty cool. It's a bit of history of the CoCo that I don't think too many people know about. JSA Retro Programming has done another update to his Haunted House, which is basically a loose conversion of the Atari 2600 Haunted House Classic. This new video here, he kind of analyzed some things he's doing. He's actually got 3 different floors working. He's running this on VCC at, I think, just regular CoCo 3 double speed, but he's running in like P mode 1, I believe, just because it gives him more room for copying pages back and forth to restore the backgrounds without having flashing and flickering and stuff. We've covered it before, but he's actually got some pretty interesting things. He's still got some of his test code in here. Like this circle is just to cover the path of the ghost. It's not going to be in the main game, I don't believe.
But if you're
go through your flashlights, etc. And at one point he goes to a different floor. Now he's got a spider wandering around. He's got this bat wandering around. You can see the patterns that they're going to be following.
There's a wall there now.
And it goes in a bit of the explanation of the game. You have to find these different pieces in different rooms, and you can't see them without your flashlight on. But the flashlight's probably going to attract the monster towards you too, so you got to be careful when you're using it. But yeah, it's coming along pretty good. He's got some pretty cool effects and stuff in here, and he's got 3 different floors now enabled. And he kind of goes through what some of his other plans for other items and stuff are too. So if you want an update on where that project's going, please feel free to hit it. Now, I did want to check here. I see Kieran was mentioning some things probably related back to the Super Kid. I think he's talking about here about the fact that it sped up the cassette loading by shifting the pitch to a shorter wave, so it would actually go faster 50 bars. It's pretty much, but even for its custom loader, the tape was recorded such that it was quite near the line for what it would detect as a difference between a 0 and 1 on the assumption that a slightly speed-varied tape-to-tape copy would mess it up, which is cool and weird. But I do know, like David Ladd and a few others have experimented with doing routines to double the speed of cassette, and even the double speed poke, as long as you extended the header block to be long enough to load in properly, actually did work, and you get the equivalent of about 2,700 baud on average, which is quite a bit faster. That's almost as well. That's probably faster than a C64 disk drive. So, some cool stuff happening there. And lastly, you got an update. I think Alan sent it to me, or maybe EJ posted, but apparently VCC's got an update, 2.1.9.3. And you can see it on the GitHub here. There's a couple of files that were just updated here 3 days ago, I think it was. Right here. I'm not sure what all is in there. He did mention a few things, so I wanted to mention those. It said 2.19.3 added a checkbox for overclocking in the CPU settings. The function keys are mapped around a bit, and some other changes with the user interface. If you press function keys from the help menu, a list of the function keys and what they do will pop up. So a little bit more help is built in as well. Has everybody had a chance to try 2.19 2.1.9.3 since he announced it on the Coco Discord a few days ago?
I've not.
Okay. Nick, I know you usually try to keep at least somewhat up to date with VCF. Haven't had a chance to try this one yet either?
I haven't tried that.
Because one thing that's intriguing to me, he mentioned these specific changes here, which are, basically mostly help stuff with a, checkbox for CPU settings for the overclock. But if you look at what he actually has the GitHub showing what has been updated, it says clean up VCC-based props and ACI RC. Well, ACI is like the serial port driver. So what did he do there? He didn't mention that. So I'm kind of curious what he's done. So if anybody has a chance to either talk to EJ or has tried it and kind of knows what's going on there too, then I'd love to know the full details. And that's all I got for the regular news. So I'm going to switch over to the gaming news to help segue into Ken.
Okay. Of course, we'll have to take a break between them.
Sure. I will stop sharing. Oh, you did that already.
No, I mean after the game on news.
Oh, after game on news. Okay. Sorry.
I think you need to take the commercial break and then we can go into Ken.
Okie dokie. Yeah, there's not a ton here, but there's some pretty cool stuff. So the first one, actually, I probably should share the screen again first, shouldn't I? Okay. So first up, Jamie Cho, he's been doing some pretty interesting things with AI programming himself, including a bunch of stuff in BASIC. He's been doing all the multi-view stuff that we've been seeing recently, including writing a text editor and other things. He said, I created OK, it was all Claude, a remake of the MC10's Lost World pinball game that runs on any 512K Coco 3 and a Mac. So he's actually got to create this for a couple cross-platform things here. This screenshot here obviously is a bit higher res than the original MC10 version, which I think was 128 by 96 4 color. This looks more like a 320 or 640. But basically, yeah, it duplicates the functionality of Lost Valley Pinball, which is actually one of the probably the premier classic game for the MC10 when it came out. Required the 16K RAM expansion pack. And it features, as he says here in the post on Facebook, smooth 30 hertz animation and digitized sound. And he's using Richard Godekin's Dynasprite, which he's actually used in some other projects earlier as well. And it was actually, the game itself was written in CMOC, which is the C-like compiler that Pierre Sorensen has done and also keeps up to date all the time too. So here's another suggestion, Ken, for another game on challenge you could do is Lost Valley Pinball, and you can actually include the MC10 people to play their version of it, and then we got the Coco 3 version of it as well, or play it on the Mac, I guess, too, because the rules will be basically the same. So there's another new game release. Now, I was going to ask Ron. Ron's an MC10 aficionado. Oh, maybe he's busy. I think I put him to sleep already. But I was wondering, like, you were very much into the MC10 because that was your first computer. You got it from Tandy. Did you get the Lost Valley Pinball games, or did you not do games at all?
Yep.
And what was your opinion of that game?
Simple.
Simple.
Simple. I don't remember it much because it's been a couple of years since I played that one particularly, but
yeah, I did like the theme because you have little alligators and they stick their tongues out and stuff instead of being a standard pinball. Now, one thing I found interesting in the comments, Mark Siegel came into the comments and mentioned that he's the one who did the design spec for the game and it had a different title originally.
What was it called?
I'm just going to find that right now. Yeah, I said, I designed the original game. It was supposed to be called Pinball Lizard, a takeoff on Pinball Wizard, the song by The Who. But I guess they were worried about maybe possible copyright claims or something, but Pinball Lizard, that's a cool name for a pinball game, I have to say. Anyway, you can go grab that one. He's got the links on the Facebook post here to his GitHub, etc., which I will briefly show here. And basically, just on the Coco 3, just load M, and the Mac, you just launch it by double-clicking it. And it's keyboard controlled, no joysticks required. It's using CMOC and Dynasprite. These Dynasprite's a Coco library with a whole bunch of sound and graphics routines, and that's been used to make games we've covered before, like that run really fancy Coco 3 Space Invaders with digitized sound. And CMOC, of course, the C compiler, which has been used for a ton of stuff, both for OS 9 and for Disk Basic. And Claude Code, which seems to be the most popular one for Coco people to use. And some people, Glenn, I think you mentioned use ChatGPT. I do know a few others that do that as well.
So here's a shout to Jim Gary. You simply have to do the pinball lizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that name, and I didn't know that history of it either.
It makes perfect sense with the game. He's a pinball
lizard. Yep. Next up is a event that has not happened yet. So Mastertronic Collectors Archive channel on YouTube, they basically chronicle everything that the game company, well, it's not just games, I guess mostly games, but there was a company in the UK called Mastertronics that did a lot of cross-platform software, and they did some Dragon stuff. And they've had some videos we've covered before about some of the games that they sold. So this one, they're actually going to be doing a comparison video between all 7 versions of the 8-bit Vegas Jackpot game, including the Dragon. There's also the Commodore 64, Commodore 16, the Spectrum 48K, the VIC-20, etc., Atari 8-bit. This is going to be released on August the 27th, premiered at 1 p.m. my time, so mileage will vary depending on the time zone you're in. But it'll be interesting to see, like, we've seen some head comparisons before between, say, arcade clones, with the original arcade game on all kinds of platforms, ranging from, primitive 8-bit systems up to like 32-bit systems and Amigas and all kinds of stuff. But these will all be 8-bit systems. I'm kind of curious. I don't know if these guys kind of cheated out a little bit and just did like semi-graphics for the Dragon version, or if they went out and did some higher res graphics. So I'll be interested to see that. But it's been fun watching some of their history of Mastertronics, because they were trying to be a software house for every single 8-bit machine that was being sold in the UK, or at least the popular ones. So anyway, August 27th, we can probably do a follow-up next week and see how the video turned out. Next up after that, this is a game for the Atari 2600 that got released in 2002, which I hadn't heard of, but it's called Skeleton. Now, why am I putting that on a Coco show? Well, in the comments, they mentioned that this game was kind of inspired and based on Phantom Slayer, which is a classic 3D shoot 'em up, one of the earliest ones in real time, and one of my favorites from back in the day from Ken Kalish, 16K back in 82. So this is an Atari 2600 version of that game, kind of, using skeletons instead of phantoms. So I will skip the little intro here. You can see what the name of the site is. It's just a 1-minute video, but I'll just play a little bit of it here, just so you can kind of see what the game itself looked like.
It was released in 2002. It was published by Atari Age. After the initial release, an improved version of the game, called Skeleton Plus, was developed. In Skeleton, you find yourself in a maze of twisty passages. The objective of the game is to eliminate 80 skeletons without being eliminated. You hear faint footsteps, so you follow the sound through the maze. To your horror, you discover the source of the footsteps is a skeleton, and it doesn't look friendly. Acting quickly, you blast it with your undead disintegrator, and the skeleton vanishes in a flash of color.
The sound gets a big gray shading, but I just found it kind of funny that Phantom Slayer inspired an Atari VCS game. I think if I remember too, I did find some mention about it. It's got a much smaller maze than Phantom Slayer does, just because of the memory limitations the Atari 2600 had. But it basically captures the flavor, like you hear the footsteps, not footsteps actually, but the proximity detectors, it's called in Phantom Slayer, which gives you a warning how far away is the Phantom, is it through a wall type thing. But a very moody game on the Coco. I'd be interested to see if the 2600 kind of evokes that same sense of paranoia and dread. I didn't know this existed, and it's been out for a while. So next about that, we have Brian Jones, who decided to do a gameplay video about 10 minutes long, playing the classic Coco game Downland. I think he's actually playing it either on a modern emulator that really does the artifact colors a bit closer to what you'd see on the real thing, or this is the real hardware. I'm not sure which. But he actually goes fairly well. He gets up to some of the later chambers here. He doesn't win the game per se, but he's gets up to chamber 8, etc. And this is, I think, considered one of the classic killer app style games on the Coco. Dungeons Daggerath's another. I would say Phantom Slayer's probably in there. But a few others that basically were unique to the Coco, but popular enough that people have cloned them. Daggerath's been cloned a couple of times, for example. And we just saw one recently on a teletext terminal. And Downlight's one that's been kind of cloned afterwards as well too, and there's been work, thinking about doing a sequel, etc., which the original author had originally planned on doing himself. But yeah, he does a pretty good gameplay on this one, and it goes pretty far. And the last one just got announced this morning, and this one's really interesting to me. I did actually leave a comment for Guillaume Major. He's also the guy that hosts the Color Computer Archive. But he's the one who ported the remaining Sierra games. Tandy officially released 2, Leisure Suit Larry and King's Quest 3. And Guillaume went in and figured out how the AGI engine worked and then converted all the other commercials titles that Sierra had published. So we got King's Quest 1 through 5 and Space Quest and Police Quest and Manhunter and a whole bunch of others, plus a whole bunch of homebrews based on the engine that have been done in recent times. Now, the thing is, the CoCo version, basically the sound files, the song files that come with those games are set up for 3-voice music. CoCo, of course, I mean, we could do 3-voice music, and I don't know why they didn't really implement that, but basically their routine place the first voice, the main melody voice. So we still get some music and stuff, but it basically pauses the CPU because to drive CoCo sound smoothly, you have to basically shut interrupts off. And that's what it does. On stuff like the Tandy 1000 or, the Apple II GS or the Atari ST, the Amiga, of course, they had sound chips dedicated that would play this multi-voice music in the background. So Guillaume has been working on hacking these games here, the Sierra engine, and he's actually implemented now. It'll support 3 different sound cards. It'll support the speech sound pack, though you do have to replace the transistor to get it run at 2 megahertz because the standard one only runs at 0.895. It also supports the CoCoPSG from Ed Snyder, and it supports the Symphony 12 from Speech Systems, which Jim Brain has duplicated as a Philharmonic 12. We covered that with probably 2 or 3 years ago here, kind of showing some of the software that came with that. So basically, this will do the full 3-voice and the noise channel, and he's redone all of the games so that they have this driver. So, and this does not pause the graphics in the background. The music will play as you're playing the game. Now, I have to find out from him, is it backwards compatible? Like if I replace the ones on the Nitrous 9 EOU, for example, does it let you select if you have one of these plugged in, use that sound source? If not, use the single one, or do I have to make 2 versions of it now for people that have one of these sound cards and then another one for the ones that don't? So I'm waiting for some word back in that. But he's actually got some videos here showing some of these here, so you can actually get kind of the full glory of how it works here. Now, is this full screening for you guys?
Yes.
Stereo too. Cool.
Yeah, but you'll see it's running multi-voice music while the graphics are still going, which the original CoCo version is not. It pauses any graphics. Or at least looks a lot more choppy.
Multi-voice.
So that's kind of the King's Quest. I'll do one of Space Quest 2. And Space Quest, of course, was never an official release on the CoCo back in the day. He's got some samples from a whole bunch of the games. I'm not going to play them all here. I'll let you guys do that on his Facebook post this morning. But that's really awesome that we've actually got finally some decent speech sound pack or Symphony 12 or CoCoPSG support for, I think including the homebrews is probably close to 20 games under Nitrous 9 or OS 9. So if you have one of these and you've done the modification. Now, I do know there was another version of the modification that didn't replace the transistor, but made it switchable so you could actually switch. Because once you do this mod, it won't work in a CoCo 1 or 2 at regular speed anymore. So I don't remember if you guys, some of you hardware guys here, remember how easy it was to add the switchable version. Because I think Robert Galt and a few others did that back in the World of 68 Micros days. So that you could actually, to plug it into your CoCo 1 2, you flick the switch down to single speed, and if you put in a CoCo 3, you switch it up to double speed. So hopefully it's not too difficult to do, but I might modify mine.
From what I recall of that, Curtis, it was, it seemed like the cartridge always doubled the CoCo's clock. So if you ran it at double speed, the cartridge tried to run at 4 times speed, so that's why it would crash or not work right. But the switch was basically just to not double the clock if it was already doubled.
Okay. Yeah, because he says here, the SSC fix consists of replacing the transistor inside the pack. More details here in Scott Cocopedia. But if there's a switchable version so that people that have both Coco 1, 2s, and 3s and want to be able to run it on either whenever they feel like it, I definitely would be worthwhile making sure that documentation's out in the public too, how to do that. I don't remember it being very complicated.
Oh, that implies he's running it at double speed anyway.
Right.
And
yeah,
Richard Lorbieski had an automatic switcher that he had designed and prototyped out. So if he pops back up at some point, this would be a perfect place for it.
Yeah, I've got auto detects the speed the CPU is running at, and just on double speed, I'll just switch to this. Yeah, that would be even better. Yeah, because then you don't have to do anything. No switch, remembering which one's which. You just plug it in and go. You remember if it was a fairly complicated thing, or was it fairly simple, that one?
It was fairly simple. It was a little tiny card that he just put in there, and it had a trace cut and a couple of jumper wires onto the rest of the card.
Cool.
I'm also
because I
wondering,
definitely would like to do that, because I do have Coco 1 here, and I do want to use it occasionally for interbank incident or something like that.
right. I'm also wondering if Guillaume is going to support the Games Master Card, because that's actually the same chip that was used in the Tandy DOS machines for sound. So
yeah, what does the PSG use? I can't remember.
Uses an AY3
variant. Okay, that's the same as the sound speech pack, basically. Then
the Yamaha 2149.
And if I remember, the games that Sierra did with the AGI engine only supported 3 voice with 1 noise channel. So the Symphony 12 is kind of overkill. I think it just uses one of the chips. There's 4 of those suckers on there.
Yeah, as the others.
Anyway, yeah, that's really cool. And it looks like there's after you just play it, it actually makes the games run a lot smoother because the sound effects and stuff don't slow down graphics drawing, etc.
Right.
Because I know there's some places in King's Quest 3 where it plays a little ditty because you did something special the game wanted you to do, but then it would kind of like lock the game up until it played its little ditty. Anyway, that's all I got for the news this week. I will be around for a little bit longer, so hopefully I'll catch the beginning of Ken's Game On Challenge and maybe a tiny bit of the presentation some of our project updates and acquisitions will have, but I probably won't be able to stay for the whole remainder of the show.
Okay, here we go.
Hello, everyone. It's your good buddy, your good pal, Amigo Aaron, joined by that dastardly The Brent from ARG Presents.
You're watching CoCoNation.
I feel like that should have been longer.
The CoCoNation show would like to thank the following patrons: AC's 8-Bit Zone, Alex Gayer, Alan Huffman, Barry Tompkinson, Boysen Tech, Brendan Donahue, Brian Blake, Brian Walsh, Brian Weasler, Kieran Anscombe, Coconut Bob, Daddy Burrito, David Ladd, Derek Smithson, Diego BF109, Don Barber, Eric Canales, Frederick Sagard, Glen Hewlett, Graham Wabke, Grant Leedy, Henry Strickland, Jason Warrens, Jim Mullis, Justin Larson, Ken Reichard, Kevin Holloway, Mark Castellan, Patrick Euland, Paul Fiscarelli, R. Allen Murphy, Richard Gore, Richard Harding, Rob Inman, Rocky Hill, Steve Batson, Terry Trapp, The Break Key, TJB Chris, Tom C., Tom Gunderson, Tom S., and William Maything. Thank you so much, patrons. If you would like to support the CoCoNation show, sign up at the URL listed on the screen or in the show description.
Hi, this is Mikey N6IL, and you're watching the CoCoNation, the nation's first live and interactive talk show featuring the Tandy color computer and its hardware cousins.
Get ready for a new level of wizardly technology.
Copico Centipede, coming soon to a theater near you.
The CoCoNation would like to thank our Discord boosters. Boysentech, Captain Kirchhoff, Frederick Micro Hobbyist Sigard, Glenside Computer Club, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, Richard G., and Wingnut 2626. Please consider joining Discord and visiting the Welcome section to see what the community has to offer. Just go to discord.thecoconation.com.
See you on Discord.
Welcome everybody to the CoCoNation Game On Challenge of the Week results video. This week we played Montezuma's Revenge. We had a total of 12 participants. We had Sleepy Malibu with a big fat 0. Exile in Paradise, 3350. Mike Zweifel, 3400. Jim Rye, 11,950. Dr. Ted, 15,050. Retro Rick, 19,900. Canadian Retro Things, 23,400. Coconut Bob, 23,800. Melly, 24,000. Doug Venner, 24,850. Shenley, 26,250. And this week's number one score belongs to Leap with 48,450.
Wow.
Thanks everybody that played. We will see you again next week.
Yay.
And the CoCoNation salutes Leap.
Salute. Okay, well, oddly enough, since this is a brand new game for the Coco, I looked through so many magazines from the 80s and I could not find any reviews. So
maybe you were looking at the wrong magazines.
Yeah, I guess I should have been looking at like something that reviewed ColecoVision or Commodore.
Because I can remember reviews for this game back in the 80s.
For the Coco?
I didn't read Coco magazines back in the 80s.
Oh, see, that's your loss.
Yes,
Were there other magazines?
I don't think this game existed for the Coco back then.
Nope, absolutely not.
Yeah, so I don't think you'd find any reviews for the Coco back then.
It's funny how all these new games that get released, I never find any reviews for them.
You should have put the Coco magazines in the Radio Shack. I mean, it would have made a good idea because, I mean, they were selling the computers.
Anyways, so for Montezuma's Revenge, we do have the author here, Lee. And I guess we can talk to him a bit about making this game, why he made it, and all that other stuff. So, Lee, was this your first game, or have you done other games in the past? Or because this seems like a pretty adventurous thing to do for a game.
This was my first game I completed.
Oh, okay.
We'll put it that way.
So, yeah. A typical Coco programmer.
Absolutely. Yes. I think there's a channel in Discord for projects we need to get back to or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the story of my 50 some years. Before this, I'd actually almost completed another big port for an MS-DOS game called Cloud Kingdoms. I don't remember if any of you all remember that from about 2 or 3 years ago.
I do. 2 meg of RAM, 609 required.
Yeah, and it was doing some really weird stuff with timing. I was pushing the Coco to its limit and to a certain degree beyond what I could continue to support. It required very specific timing because it was changing the video mode 2/3 of the way down the screen from 320 by 200 to a text screen to show the score. And the timing on that was different for the 86 gimme, the 87 gimme, PAL, NTSC. And I just had an 86 gimme and I didn't have a way to test all the timing on it. And at the time, I was worried that 6309 and 2 meg was going to reduce my audience so much that it wasn't going to be worth the effort. I mean, I'd already put like a year into making that game. That was also completely by hand by me. There was no AI involved in that one at all because I didn't know about AI much about AI yet. Now I have fully embraced our masters. I mean AI. But Montezuma's Revenge started. I was in Discord, I think in just the general game channel, and somebody, I don't remember who it was now. I apologize. But you could probably go back in the Discord channel and find out. But somebody said, you know, they'd love to see a game, Montezuma's Revenge, that they used to play ported to the CoCo. And I looked it up, and I was like, that looks like a much easier thing to take on than Cloud Kingdoms. Cloud Kingdoms was 8-way scrolling, smooth scrolling across a 1024 by 512 play field. Montezuma's Revenge was all static screens. There was no scrolling, no need to split the screen for between graphics and text halfway down. Like, this seems like a much better take, something to take on that I could probably accomplish. And I'd started getting into using AI as an assistant by that point too. So I started reverse engineering Montezuma's Revenge probably in February of this year, using Claude Code a lot to help with the reverse engineering. And probably in a couple of months, I had fully, starting with just the binary from the Commodore 64, I ended up with an assembly language listing that I had fairly well commented and had a really good understanding of how it worked. And then I started working on, it was probably about March or April that I started working on the port to the CoCo, using Claude Code a lot to help with that.
Okay. Yeah, well, it turned out really well. And did you make any actual changes between this and the original like Commodore versions and stuff?
I tried to stay as true to the look and the behavior of the original Commodore 64. Obviously, we don't have hardware sprites. We don't have hardware tile characters, the tiles and everything that the Commodore had. So first thing I had to do was write a Commodore 64 sprite and tile engine, which was obviously different code-wise from the original. But my goal was to stay as true to the look and feel and the behavior of the program. I did make some changes, like the whole high score I added is something I added on. Some early feedback I got when I first had some people beta testing was that when you died and you came back, it jumped you straight into gameplay. And somebody suggested that it would be nice if it had like a pause where it said ready for a second before it actually started the game moving. And so I added that little ready that shows on the screen for about a second after you die before it actually lets you start playing your next life again.
Ready Player One?
Yep, Ready Player. I should have made it say Ready Player One. Except that would give the illusion that there was a possibility for a player two. But that and the high score chart were two things that I added on. But the rest of it is fairly true, including some of the frustrating jumps and the timings that you have to get just perfect on it are pretty true to the original Commodore 64.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I only ever really played it on the ColecoVision, but I have to say it's, from what I remember, very close. Very, very much the same. And yeah, I'm able to get further in this version than I was. And I don't know if it's because I'm older now or what, because usually my gameplay gets worse as time goes on, but
yeah. Yeah, some of the getting in the early stages, I had to get a lot of the data brought over from the Commodore 64 side. And obviously the data in memory in the code for the Commodore 64 for like the sprites was very different. It was like 1 bit per pixel and then separate color data. I used Claude Code a lot to help with that, to get the sprites converted to bitmaps, and then loaded them up in a program called CoCoSC. I don't know if many are familiar with that for generating compiled sprites for the CoCo. The website is github.com/. PFICARELLI/Coco_sprites_compiler.
That's Piscarelli's sprite compiler.
Okay, yeah. So I used that to, once I got the Commodore 64 sprites as bitmaps and got using a palette that I had picked out that for the Coco that was perfectly matching the sprite, as close as I could, matching the sprite color, the colors that were used in the Commodore 64 game. I used the CoCoSC to convert them to compiled sprites and got them into the got them compiled on the Coco. That was around the time of CoCoFEST this year, and I had a table set up there. And I apologize again, I don't remember his name, but one of the people there at the CoCoFEST pretty much sat at my booth while I was there, while I was doing my very first ever attempt to work with Claude Code and get it to create assembly code on the Coco 3 that would animate my one of the sprites that I had brought, one of my compiled sprites that I brought over. And by the end of CoCoFEST, I had a screen that on the Coco that would show Panama Joe moving left and right, back and forth across a black screen. And that was my very first ever attempt at using Claude Code to help with 6809 coding.
Well, it definitely turned out well. I think everybody that tried this game this last couple of weeks really enjoyed it. At least I haven't heard any complaints.
The only not necessarily complaint, but somebody asked, how come it only saves my high score every other time I die?
Yeah.
And that was a conflict I had introduced by adding the high score in that was conflicting with the we feel sorry for you mode, where if you die before you finish difficulty level 1, it lets you start back at that room you died on with your full inventory. It skipped the high score part at that point because I didn't think about that when I added in the high score. You only went to the high score to record your score when you had the final game over. But after that first game over, it clears your score, so you lose that. I just released a version 1.1. It's updated on the website. Now, if you download it, you get version 1.1, so that if you get on that first death on 1, you see game over, you hit a key, it immediately takes you to the high score. If you qualify, you can enter your name, your high score, record your high score, and then when you hit any key to exit the high score, instead it'll clear the high score list and ask you right there on the high score screen without the list showing, do you want to continue where you were, yes or no? And you can hit Y or N. If you hit N, it'll actually let you quit back to the title screen to start a new game, which is something you couldn't do before. You were forced to start that second game with 0 score and all your inventory. If you hit yes, it will then let you continue on from where you started off. So you have a chance to record that first score you get.
Oh, excellent.
And that was 100% done by Claude Code. I gave it the prompt this morning to tell it to start working on it. And then I had to go, I went off with my, I gave it a detailed prompt of exactly how I wanted it to behave and everything. And I started it and I went off with my wife. We went off to do garage sailing and stuff. At several points, I remoted to my computer from my iPad and checked on its progress. And at one point it was asking me a question. I answered it and told it to keep going. So I checked on its progress throughout the time. And by the time we got home, like about 3 hours later, it had it working and I was able to try it and it worked. I may have done another couple of iterations where I was asking for things to be a little different, but I was satisfied with it and I pushed it up to the website, so it's available to download now.
Excellent. So do you have anything else in the pipeline for games or any other ideas that you're planning on?
I hinted the last couple of Thursdays on what I was working on. I am attempting, I'm still not convinced it is doable, but I am attempting to see if Wolfenstein 3D can be ported to the Coco 3. Okay. Absolutely would require 68309 and 2 meg. I've actually gotten to the point where I actually have some Wolfenstein running with the original data for the first level, actually letting you walk around some at about 1 frame per second.
We'll take it. We're Coco.
I am shooting for 6 frames per second, which I've seen some video. I've already generated some video of it running at 6 frames per second. I believe that would be playable.
Well, you know, I remember back in the day, I had like a 486 or something, and I played Wolfenstein and Doom on these little bitty screens in the middle of a big background. That's okay.
Yeah.
Just get the game going.
And that is what I'm shooting for. It's going to be a 320 by 200 screen, but the game screen will actually be in a 160 by 100 in the middle.
Right, and a little decoration around it, and let's go. Let's play.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought about decorations around it, but yes, currently it's just a black screen or a black border around it.
Just make a fake CM8 monitor around it.
Oh, there you go. Something
I like
stupid.
that.
Well, you know, you got the Doom guy's face or whatever. And so,
that just gave me vibes of, what was it, the Ultima 7 that started up where it showed the dude's computer with like something Ultima playing on it, and it was actually showing a picture of the monitor, and then it panned over. Anybody remember Ultima 7 on the PC?
No, we're too old.
Okay.
I think I've tried that one. It sounds familiar.
I know.
The last one I played was Ultima 4. That was the quest for the Avatar one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember the subtitles. I know my first Ultima game I played was Ultima 6, and I fell in love with it. And then Ultima 7 just blew me away.
Yeah, Ultima 7 was a 3D one, right?
No, that was Ultima 8.
Oh, sorry.
Ultima 6 and 7 were the isometric top-down.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
the first
I
one
still
I played
play
was
Ultima 1
1
all the time.
Yeah.
I still play Ultima 1 all the time.
And
Yeah,
I
those
played the
early
original Apple
Ultimas-
II version where most of it was basic.
Yep, that's the one I
Yeah.
play.
Those earlier Ultimas were like straight top-down, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were kind of like Gates Delirium and Seventh Link kind of
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, I think Ultima 6 was the first one that was more isometric type view. And then Ultima 7 was much better graphics and everything, but still isometric. Ultima 8 went to, Ultima 8, I think, was also isometric. Ultima Underworld, was it?
That
I
was
think
the first 3D one, full 3D.
That was the first 3D one, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wolfenstein is my current my current project. And I am forcing myself, just to see how far I can get Claude Code to go, I am forcing myself to let it do all the coding. It's all me. If something doesn't work, I am going back and forth with it to figure out what to debug it, and it's all through prompts. I haven't written any code, and I've actually got some Wolfenstein going on the Coco 3. The initial engine is my basic end. I started the initial engine with my ability to swap the ROMs out, and all of my games I try to do so that you can quit and it dumps you back into basic with nothing corrupted. You can just exit again to start the game if you wanted, but I try to I swap the ROMs out and preserve the ROMs, version of the ROMs out, and preserve them, and we can swap them back in. But the basic game engine I started with, and then just gave it to Claude, and it has done all the coding so far, which is me just spending hours and hours prompting it and working back and forth with it. I just want to see how far Claude Code can go, see if I can actually completely, and I hate to use this term, it has such bad connotations to it around the world, but completely vibe code this. And not the vibe code where I don't know what I'm doing. I've got 40-some years of coding.
You want to be the project manager, right?
Yes, the project manager who has 40 years of development experience under his belt.
I'll tell you, we need to be doing Lackey. Now do it.
I do find it fascinating that you're working on Wolf 3D at the same time Chris Burke is working on Doom, according to the Coco.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't know how I feel about that, mainly because my first attempt at this was I worked with Claude to see if we could do Doom. And the conclusion that we both came to is that if we did, it would be measured not in frames per second, but in seconds per frame.
Yeah.
And then I started working on Wolfenstein, and he immediately starts posting videos of Doom. I was like, okay, is he actually going to be able to do this where I didn't think I could? That's interesting. And he showed actual video of it running with a Coco palette and running it smooth. I have to assume
That's not on a
the
CoCo though. We covered that earlier before you joined the show here. That's actually a Linux version, but you just want to see how the dithering and stuff would look.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I assumed that must have been like he recompiled and recompiled the Doom source to use a 16 color CoCo compatible palette or something.
That's exactly what he did.
Yeah. I'd really be curious to see if he can actually get that running at a playable rate on the CoCo. I'm struggling with Wolfenstein 3D, but I'm not hand doing this code. So if I were to do this by hand, it might take me 4 years longer.
Right.
But I may be able to actually get it to run smoother than with Claude, but you wouldn't see it for another 4 years.
Yeah, the only texture map demo we have that would be comparable to Doom would be the one Remy did years back, and we covered it. We talked about it earlier in the show too, but it does texture mapped walls and ceilings and floors and stuff, and does a fixed walk through a maze thing.
Right.
And it's running several frames per second. Yeah,
that was one of the differences between Wolfenstein and Doom. Wolfenstein, the floors were all flat, the walls were all 90 degrees.
Yeah, there was nothing above or below you. It was just walls.
Right.
I mean, through fake lights and stuff, but it wasn't really texture.
Right. The floor was always a gray, and the ceiling was always a little bit darker gray, and through the whole game, there were no variations on it. Doom actually, and the floors were always flat. There were no stairs or anything. Doom actually introduced multiple levels of floors, so you could have steps and fully textured floors, and lighting that could be darker further away than close up. So Wolfenstein is a much easier engine to try to port to the CoCo.
How is it comparing to Gatecrasher?
I'm not familiar with Gatecrasher.
That's our one 3D shoot 'em up that Nick, who's actually on the show today, did with the help of Sockmaster from his original Gloom 3D demo in the 90s.
You can download it for free if you want and have a look.
Is that the one where was that one that wasn't texture based?
Yeah, it wasn't texture.
No,
I think I've seen that. I think I've seen that and actually played it. Yep.
All right. Well, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
Sorry. I was just about to say, as soon as you try to add textures in, then you bring in a slowdown.
It's all about the feelies.
It's all about what?
The feelies.
The feelies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what the CoCo needs. Instead of more give me extra something, just put textured polygons in. So we don't have to draw that with the CPU. Like think fractals. You got 4 colors of green. That could be big, close trees to far away trees. And the CPU doesn't have to think about it. And you might just pull off something like Doom with that kind of graphics.
And just for your reference, Lee, I don't know if you've seen this. I've actually pulled up a video of Remy's 3D texture mapping on a CoCo 3, and both the original 609 version he released and then the 609 patch version that I did, which is not as optimized as it could be, but this has no sound, no gameplay. This is just going through maps, but it'll give you an idea of what speed it runs at. Hopefully that's sharing okay there.
That looks sweet.
So 609 on the right, 689 on the left. Sharp corners and stuff, just like you mentioned, not multiple levels. He did do another one, which is just straight filled in walls and stuff, but it actually lets you tilt your view up and down too.
Yeah, texture map ceilings and floors too. That's nice.
No, obviously there's no game. It's only doing the display at this point. So the frame rate's a lot better than the game would be.
That's looking like about 5 or 6 frames per second.
Yeah, especially the 609 one. And there's some timetables and stuff in there that I definitely could speed up if I had the original source. But I was just patching in memory at certain spots. I could just cram code in.
I assume all integer math.
And that's a full size screen too.
Yeah. Anyway, I just want to share that because that's that one that's been done before. So, but it's not a game. And as Nick pointed out, like Gloom and Gloom 2, the Sockmaster did back in 97, 98, ran nice and quick too with keyboard controls and stuff, but there's no, AI and everything else. And actually, Mark, you can zoom up a Gatecrasher that somebody's playing on the...
Remy's looks like it's a 4-color mode.
I think so.
Yeah.
And you got the fisheye effect here, which you did want to fix at some point.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which Remy's did fix on his. I didn't notice that.
Oh yeah, the walls look kind of curved.
But there's an actual game here. You got ammo and you got health and you got
Oh, so he's
computers
not
to
using.
destroy and people to kill and people you're not supposed to kill.
So let me guess,
and
they're
digital,
not.
digital sound effects.
Yeah. Which you can't hear at this moment, but
Nope, they're just.
and of course, as usual, Nick had to sneak in some version of Mastermind in there to unlock the doors.
There it is.
What? Mastermind in a Nick Morente's game? No.
Anyway, that's the one game we do have currently that actually does do not fixed 90-degree turns like Daggerwrath or Venom's Lair does, but actually has, sweeping turns, etc.
Sure.
It's the only full 3D game on the Coco.
Yeah, I believe so. Somebody was doing a wireframe one at one point, but I don't know if that ever got finished.
So
like 20 years ago, I did that.
I just managed to copy the my disk image for where I had a little sample of what I was working on Wolfenstein 3D copied over here where I could run it. You want me to show?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see.
A future Game On challenge.
Right?
It's a ways off from that, but yeah, sure.
Oh no, we're expecting it for next week.
Right.
Yeah,
That'll be the
that's not gonna
challenge.
Wait a second. There we go. Are you seeing my Coco, my VCC?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's. Of course, the demo gods are not going to be in my favor here.
Oh no.
We'll see. My generic splash screen.
Game.
I would never guess that was a game.
Is that a game?
And I'm going to speed this up by hitting F8 on VCC. Oh, well, that should have. Yeah, that sped it up some. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the L for live. No, well, yeah, let's do L for live. So this is live. I'm hitting the arrow keys. You can't hold the key down. You got to hit the key each time. But this is actually rendering the rooms as I go.
As you hit a key, you're rendering a frame.
Yeah.
Now, are you still overclocked at this point, or is this running at stock?
This is running at 1.79.
Sweet.
And 6809 or 6309 code?
6309.
Native mode as well, I would assume.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Most of my time so far has been spent trying to get the textures to look to get the dithering on the textures to look right. If I quit and not exit, and then go space. Yeah, this was just showing some of the textures and the dithering. That was the stone walls, the dark stone walls, the more stone walls. Oh, hold on just a second. Well, I can't figure out how to mute here. What's up? Oh, okay. Go ahead. Somebody wanted to walk by behind me and they wanted me to cover my camera.
Oops. What camera? I'm not here. You need to post it cleverly folded. You can hang over it so no one will.
So here's some of the banners. This was all just working on getting the text, the dithering to look good. There's the some of the jail cells, the dark, some of the statues and the dark versions. There's the jail cells with the skeleton in them.
You need to swap the swastika for a Commodore logo.
So on Montezuma's Revenge, somebody suggested that I swap out one of the colored keys for a green Coco green key. I'm close to doing that. So exit, not exit, exit. And then if I hit F, it actually does a pre-render of the full walkthrough. And then it pre-renders them 91 frames, all rendered to memory, stored in the 2 meg. and then plays them back to show I can play them back at 6 frames, 5 frames, 4 frames, and 3 frames per second to get a feel for what I liked. 6 frames per second, after this finishes, I can show you 6 frames per second I feel would be playable. 5 frames per second I felt was borderline. 4 frames and slower was not playable. You're watching a slideshow at that point.
Right.
This turns around and then it walks down to the end of the hallway and turns around, and then it stops that's the end of the 91 live frames being recorded.
Although it's true, you only have to render a frame per step and then move bad guys around inside the frame that you've just rendered, right? So you don't really need full motion video. Just
right. This was just so that, because we don't have the engine optimized enough to be able to do more than about 1 or 2 frames per second.
That's as far as I'm going to move in a step. I mean,
yeah, but you're never going to aim at an enemy before it shoots you at that rate.
Well, but you don't have to move the whole background at a better frame rate. You just have to move your Quasar sprite around at a better frame rate, which will buy you a lot of playability.
So what this did here is this is running at 5 frames per second. If I hit 1, it goes to 6 frames per second. Not very noticeable, but it is somewhat. If I go, I think 4, drops it down to 3 frames per second.
Yeah, we're probably seeing it less or more choppy than you're seeing it on your end too.
But what this did is after it pre-rendered everything, the bar graph at the bottom is, I think, it shows a bar graph for all 91 frames that it rendered and how many VSyncs it actually took to render them. So you can see the beginning frames when we were close up in the hallway and everything, it was not very many VSyncs, but then there were some. This was just kind of a way to get an idea for all the different frames that it rendered, how many VSyncs it took to render them. And some of them took over the 10 VSyncs that I was hoping for it to lock it in at 6 frames per second. But yeah, this is where I'm at with Wolfenstein. I have medium hopes for this. I don't, at this point, I'm not thoroughly convinced it can't be done, but I'm also not thoroughly convinced it can be.
Well, I think the official stance of the Game On High Council is that failure is not an option, so you have to get this done.
Now that I've shown,
right?
Lee, you have a lot riding on you here because they have Wolfenstein 3D for the Apple II GS, which is 2.54 megahertz, and you know.
Okay.
And
remember, it does have a sound chip, so you know, but you got a steep road to hoe here, so to speak.
I may have to try to see if I can't get or reverse engineer the source for that to get some idea of how they optimized some of the rendering.
I will see if I can locate any of that for you because I know where most all the Apple places are. So.
Yeah. And that way I can throw all that source at Claude and say, see, it can be done. Do it right.
Right.
I did want to show Remy's other demo, which he called the Wolfenstein 3D style demo, but this is one where it just does filled ones and it's got some tearing. He didn't optimize it by page flipping and stuff to make it smoother, but it shows you actually being able to use the angle view where you can like look up, look down type thing. And it ran at a pretty good clip considering.
Most people did like to run an accelerator on the Apple II GS back in the day for that, but it should be able to be done okay at normal speeds.
But you can see he's tilting up and down. You can also run in one direction while facing a different direction, which is kind of
strafing is almost a requirement for me for FPSs.
Yeah.
So he did a pretty good job of this. I mean, he's got the tearing because he's not using double buffering, but speed-wise, it's going pretty good.
Yeah, it is. That's smooth.
Yeah, it's like 15 frames a second, maybe 12 to 20, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask modern gamers, it's not doing 120, so it's not smooth. But for us, that's smooth.
Yeah, no texture mapping certainly helps.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's Nick's game.
Hey, that was one of Nick's games that didn't have a mastermind element to it.
Hey, we don't need to show that again.
All right. Well, yeah. definitely Montezuma's Revenge was really a lot of fun, and I hope that Wolfenstein 3D gets made so we can try playing that. So thank you very much, Lee, for making that for us.
Not a problem. It has been a very enjoyable journey.
Does anybody else have anything they want to add?
I played the DOS version and it reminded me how the Coco version is way better. I'll just put it like that, simply.
Yeah, for some reason, whoever did the DOS port decided to use CGA instead of 16-color EGA. And yeah, I definitely didn't pick that one to port to the Coco.
And thank you for that.
Thank you for your service, he says.
All right. Well, I guess we should move on to the other game that we played this week, which was Rick Dangerous.
And yeah, because Lee paused work on Cloud Kingdoms, this is now officially the first 609 2-meg required arcade game for the Coco 3.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Yeah, at some
Now,
point I do plan on pointing Claude at Cloud Kingdoms and telling it to consume it all and learn it and see if it can actually help me finish it.
And so I actually have not had a chance to play this yet, and I've never played the original. So I really
Is Glenn
can't
still around,
talk
or did he
that
have to
much about
leave?
it. Unfortunately, I think Glenn left. So
Oh, darn. We'll have to get him on again to go in more detail.
yeah, I was hoping we could grab a few sound bites from him on this, but yeah, as I said, it's a 2 megabyte game. It's 6309. Yeah. So, so those of you that have tried it, Sloopy, you chose this game. Maybe you can talk about it.
It's a good game. I give it 2
How far
thumbs up.
did you get?
Down far enough
How
away
many-
that the rock didn't crush me.
How many screens did you get through?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8,
Right.
I think. Yeah.
It is pretty hard.
Yeah, when I got to the when I started having to deal with the natives is when I started having problems.
And that's one of the problems with a lot of the games that we convert nowadays. Back in the day, having hard games was fine. We were young and had reflexes. Half these games we do nowadays, we can't play it.
Well, there's that, but there's also the UK level of difficulty.
Oh, but back in the day, that was the norm. Now we can't.
Well, no, not for us
Although
North American gamers. It was a little bit easier.
We never
We
had
never went
the
that far.
pixel perfectness of UK games. That was that was another level.
That was like the games
not-
hated the player. That's what those were.
Yeah. They're like,
Not every
okay,
game.
well, this game is really hard. You have to be absolutely pixel perfect, but let's add a timer that you can barely get through the screen unless you continuously go. And we'll also have something chasing you so that you can't stop to pause to time your jump. You just have to do it on the fly.
And the thing chasing you goes the exact same speed as you. So if you make a mistake, it doesn't.
Yep.
Right.
I think that was the goal of most UK games was how many ways can I actually kill the player?
And make it as frustrating as possible.
Yeah.
Back then, we didn't think, well, the UK people or Europeans didn't think that. They just, it was challenging. They could do it. That was the norm for them.
Yep, that was the norm.
But
Well, we took it
nowadays,
different ways. In the US, we took the loss of a quarter
Personally.
Well, I messed up my whole concept there. Sorry, I should have waited a second and develop it more fully. But I think
In
we
many-
took it different. In Europe, they said, "Hey, you lost a quarter, no big deal. You died." And in the U.S., we kind of went the other way and said, "Okay, you can play this game for 2 weeks because we ain't going to get another quarter out of you." It's just kind of a different approach.
Yeah. Like, okay, in the arcade, we wanted to get as many quarters out of you, but when you've bought the game, you've already paid us as much as you're going to for it, so
So
who cares
enjoy it
how-
a while. Yeah.
Yeah, just enjoy.
But in the UK, they said, "Damn it, you ain't got nothing in this. Die, die, die."
Yeah, well, the thing is that in the U.S., the faster you got through the game, the faster you'd buy their next game.
Oh, it's boring now. I need a new game. Okay.
We don't want to challenge you.
Did many people play? Did many people play Rick Dangerous on the Game On Challenge the other day?
A few people were trying it. There's
right.
been some scores posted, but as I said, I had not. I wanted to get my Montezuma's Revenge fix in because I wasn't around last week, so I didn't get to play it. So
It's very well done on the Coco. Glenn's done a very good job.
yes, it looks awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to trying that next week.
Yeah, I couldn't get past the rock, but I have an idea I want to try.
That's the first screen.
That's don't worry.
Well,
That's
maybe
probably
that-
about as far as I'll get.
Maybe that's your problem, Mark. You're not supposed to get past the rock. You're supposed to run away from the rock.
Yeah, but it would be the little guy at the bottom that would get me. So I'm going to see if I can hide in some manner to let the rock get the guy at the bottom.
Yeah, just go down and go right instead of staying down there and get the guy get you.
Yeah, so I was going to try that next time I played it.
Yeah, I played it on in VCC, and at first my guy just kept jumping and jumping and jumping, and then I realized that my mouse was pushed a little forward, and it was treating that as the joystick up. I had to roll my mouse back some to get him to stop jumping. And I made it about as far as that first screen where you fall with I got away from the rock falls, I moved to the right, the rock crushed that guy, and then I could never jump over the guy at the bottom there. It's like, I was like, I didn't come anywhere near him. This has an interesting hitbox around it.
Yeah, it's a hit parachute.
And that's what I mean. And that's what I mean, that a lot of these games are for an older generation of us. Nowadays, yeah, you might have, the game may have 100 levels. I think most of us are only going to see the first 5. So,
Yeah, so Mark B, you should start playing now. I mean, it's not like you're doing anything important.
Yeah, well, might mess up the show.
Yeah, it's not important, like you said.
It's already
There you
messed
go.
up by it. So no one will notice.
Well, next week we will have a lot more to say about Rick Dangerous because, yeah, more of us are going to be playing it, especially after they see what I picked this week.
If you don't have a 2 meg 6 on Coco, of course, MAME, XROR, and VCC all support that configuration. Some's command line, some you can do from the menus, but
all right. Well, shall we take a what?
All right. So what's the new game?
I'm not telling you yet. We got to talk about the live game on challenge first.
Oh man.
Okay. Yeah, we had a live game on challenge. People played games. It was fun. All right. What's the new game?
There you go, Sloopy.
Well, you just glossed right over my reading.
Yeah.
We haven't even got to that yet.
I guess I have to get more detailed in this discussion of the CoCoNation Game on Challenge Live, where we had, I think, a total of like 8 players, 9 players. Yeah, 8 players.
Yeah,
because I knew someone else was playing here, and Lee's showing 2 screens. So, but yeah, we actually had a dramatic reading of the instructions, which was awesome.
And the comic books and
Yep.
Yeah,
we went
even
on
more
to
than the
comic book.
dramatic reading of the instructions. We got the completely narrated for the unable to see it audience version of both of the comics.
Yeah, he does need to work on his sound effects though.
yeah. You know, boom, pow, ick.
Yeah, because he went boom, and that's more like a boom. So, but yeah, they hinted at a Rick Dangerous 2. Does that mean we're going to get a Rick Dangerous 2 to play?
There was a Rick Dangerous 2.
There was,
But
yeah.
do we get it ported to the
on the
CoCo?
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Well, if Glenn were still here, he could answer that.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath though.
Depends on how many people. Depends on how many people played the Rick Dangerous 1 first.
Well, you know,
And
Nick,
you can also
you have an Amiga. You could you've played Rick Dangerous 2, haven't you?
I did back in the day. I do have a Rick Dangerous 1 and 2 on the Amiga, yeah.
Maybe you can get it started.
Get it? No. No, I'm not as good as Glenn.
But are you as good as Claude?
I don't use AI.
You're old school.
Yeah.
I'm too dumb.
So yeah, so Thursdays 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Join us on the CoCo Discord for the CoCoNation Game On Challenge Live. I want to start seeing 8, 9, 10 people playing every week.
Especially next week, we want to see. We're going to have to play a because Rick Dangerous is such a hard game. We're going to have to do a community play of it. Everybody helping out to talk about how to get through things.
Yeah.
Can you get Claude to play it for us?
Interesting.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
Interesting what?
It won't play well because it takes screenshots and then analyzes them. But you can, between screenshot analysis and having it list out debug steps using headless mode with MAME or whatever. Yeah, you could actually get the things to play the games.
There are various YouTube videos that show playthroughs of the Amiga version, which look exactly the same as the CoCo one. If you have a look at
but that's cheating.
Yeah, but that sort of lets you see all the levels you probably won't see. And it also tells you what to do. Well, it shows you what to look out for. There is a fair bit that you've got to look out for in Rick Dangerous. Definitely a game that'll drive you mad.
Well, we'll see how mad it makes everybody on Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern in the CoCo Discord, Game On Challenge Live Discord channel. So everybody be there. You can see us all go crazy from playing Rick Dangerous.
Drive us mad?
No, it's a pre-existing condition. Stop being so dramatic.
What was the CoCo's platform game that we showed it just before that Tandy sold? That's well known for the CoCo. The name escapes me now.
RoboCop?
No.
Downland.
Downland. Hey, if Lee's still there, may I suggest a game? Are you still there, Lee? Oh, is Lee gone?
No, I'm here.
Why don't you look at doing Downland for the Coco, but doing it with full filled in solid graphics rather than all the line work that because that was the thing I always hated about Downland. It just looked terrible. I thought it really needs solid, solid platforms and stuff.
Tiles.
So it looks really good. The game
Needs
itself
Coco
is
3
fine.
graphics.
Yeah, it'll have to be Coco 3, yeah.
They could do tiles, I guess, right? And even 2.5D. Right?
Didn't Paul Thayer start one of those?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought that was Downland 2 that Paul Thayer was working on.
Oh, maybe it's Downland 2, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't realize.
Isn't there already a Downland 2 that was really bad? There's
Cave
like
Walker?
a sequel. Yeah, Cave Walker.
I don't think it was really bad. I actually found it fun with like the trampolines and stuff added to it, but
Good point, though. Downland is complex enough. You can do the 2.5D where a half jump up is just a step back in the graphics or so to make it look not so much a side scrolling like Donkey Kong 3D did. It wasn't really 3D, but it looked clever. It was, yeah.
Yeah, and Downland is all static screens, right? I mean, not they move and stuff, but it's no scrolling.
Right, no static
Correct.
background, and you just
Yeah,
run sprites in front of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we have to run, guys. So thanks for having me on the show there, and I'll see you all next week.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Well,
Yeah,
shall
me
we
too.
take a
I'll
look and
catch the rest of the show later on replays.
Okay, we can start talking about Curtis now.
Yeah,
we
you
can
guys do
start.
it anyway. It doesn't matter if I'm around or not, but
now that Curtis is leaving, we can put the game up and nobody will be able to guess it.
oh, maybe I should hang around. No, I'm just kidding.
You guys do a great job.
So this is our game for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, an Apple Panic type game, is it? Or
It is,
I can't remember.
but it's for the
name.
color computer, so
Yeah, I can't remember the original name.
and by the way, I haven't chosen this game before because it took me the longest time to figure out how to dig holes and fill in holes. But when you're playing this game, obviously left and right and up and down for moving across the platforms and up and down the ladders. When you hold the fire button down and you push down, it digs a hole. And then when you hold the fire button down and you push up, it fills in the hole that you're facing. So I, for the longest time, couldn't figure out how to fill in the holes. So
So what you're saying is that before a game is chosen, you practice it for a while before.
no, I try it out to see if it's, and because I couldn't actually figure out, and I couldn't find the instructions for it, I couldn't figure out how to actually play the game. So I was like, well, what's the point? What if nobody knows how to play this game?
You didn't look on that L. Curtis Boyle website for cheats?
I looked on the L. Curtis Boyle website, but it doesn't actually tell anything about how to fill in and dig holes. So, but I figured it out now. So
good. Let's get that recorded.
What's it
Will
called?
we tell anyone else?
And
Or? Oh, you
just
did,
so you
didn't
know, it's called Color Panic.
That's it.
Apple Panic was for the Apple.
Apple
Color
Panic was
Panic's for the
nice.
color computer.
That's right. Yeah. I couldn't remember the original name, but yeah, I knew it was an Apple
Wait.
Panic.
Didn't we already play a game like this?
I think we did.
Cuthbert Goes to Walkabout.
That's right. It was a different one.
Yeah, one of the Cuthbert games for the Dragon.
But similar.
Yeah, it's the same premise, but this is just the one that was released for the color computer.
This is Color Panic.
Yep. So we're going to be playing that for the next 2 weeks, as well as Rick Dangerous, and also, hey, if you want to continue playing Montezuma's Revenge, and you can get really far, post some screenshots and some scores in the other game channel. What's that one called?
High score something.
Yeah, just I should
Like
know
high
this, but
scores or something.
where the heck is the
General game
posts
posts
or high score screenshots? Yep.
So one question from the chat, is it anything like Digger?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. That's what those all those games come. Apple Panic was the original for that kind of thing.
And there's another question in the chat that I think would be interesting for game on. It's game related at least. Is are there any recommendations for games for type in from the Rainbow magazines? I still enjoy typing in programs. So that sounds like that would be actually a pretty cool topic to carry on with at some point. But if someone has an immediate recommendation before the end of the show, throw it in the chat or sing it out.
Bang for the buck typing games.
Yes, we have selected type-in games for the Game On Challenge in the past.
But
it's
the Coco Living wants to just know if there's any that are worth going and typing in. Like,
right. What's worth the time and effort to type in? What did I...
Well, nowadays it's a lot better to do the type-in games because back when I first had my color computer, I didn't have any method to save or load stuff, so I could type in a game, but then I had to leave my computer on and play only that game for however long till I got sick of it.
Well, and back in the day, I used type-in games to learn how to program, so
yeah,
I didn't like the games that were just racks of data statements. I wanted a game that had logic.
For type-in games, I would recommend what are those books called?
Rainbow Book of something or other kind of things.
Yeah, there's like the adventure games and the
Rainbow Book of Adventures, like 1 through 4.
Usborne has a whole series that you can get type-in games.
There's the Osborne ones, but there's also oh, geez, what were those books called?
David Al, Creative Computing books.
Yeah.
Or are you thinking more specifically for the color computer?
Well, I'm
thinking of just for the color computer. There was some.
Well, some of the magazines had contests.
Yeah, it could be the Osborne ones. TSR here go on the archive. TRS-80 Color Computer Space Adventures and TRS-80 Color Computer Fantastic Games. Those are actually the 2 books that I had when I was a kid that I learned how to program from because I typed in the books and then just played around with the
played
around with the programs to
I typed in all the Color Space Adventures ones and uploaded the disk image to the archive as well, so that you could actually try them and play them, not just see them in the book. But those kind of books were the days where you had a very simple game, and it was all about the art in the book that sold you on the amount.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was my favorite part. Just looking at it's the same with like the old Atari cartridges and stuff. The artwork that came with those was just amazing. Like, there was no actual screenshots of games.
Oh yeah,
it
got you into the mood for the game, and then like Yar's Revenge had a comic book with it in the box. And you're like, I have no idea what this game is about. And then you see the comic yes. All right. Now we're saving alien space flies or whatever, so.
And then even if there were just blocky graphics, your imagination took over from the artwork you saw. So,
but I think this is actually a pretty cool question to keep coming back to, especially with Tandy coming up, would be, hey, folks, we got a lot of people that have spent a lot of time over the years looking at Rainbow magazines. What are really the standout things worth typing in from that? Because I constantly find little gems just digging through Rainbows for the heck of it that I don't remember from then or forgot probably in a binge drinking bout or something. So
killed that brain cell.
Yeah. So why not? I mean, it's a great question, and it's one of those that could, the folks on the basic channel on the Discord, for example, hopefully can weigh in.
So one thing I would suggest is go back to Hot Cocoa magazine in particular had a series called Elmer's Arcade, And some of those were kind of lame, but it was still kind of educational, just typing them in and seeing how the logic worked. And in particular, Dang It was really fun. Python was kind of more educational for me because then I converted it to use, you could push a arrow key before you got to the corner. So I taught myself how to program a little bit just from typing something in and then modifying it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
did too. I would type in the games and then I would find the variables and I'd change them to see
Yeah.
what that did to the game. And I could figure out how things were working. And
Elmer's Arcade was good because a lot of it, they would explain the program too. Sort of. So that was kind of the point of it.
Right.
Basic Beat with Richard Esposito was always a good one. But yeah, the magazines are a good place to get all the, and one-liners, Rainbow one-liners were always a favorite.
Right, because they always told you how they pulled it off, which was I like that.
That was always the first thing I did when I got a new Rainbow is look for the one-liners and put a few of those in, looking for the graphics in particular.
all right, well, I guess I don't have anything else to say about the Game On Challenge, so we can move on to the other part, the beginning of the show.
Where are we now? Start
Yeah.
Intro.
Updates and acquisition.
We're ready to start the show.
Yeah, hit that first commercial, would you?
Let's see. All right, I need this screen. I need to reconfigure my screens because they're all in the wrong order.
Divide by 12. Yeah. Carry the 4.
There we go. Updates and acquisitions. Oh, actually, today we have where is it? There it is. So I have to do this manually. I have to fix that. I guess I'll have to fix that button. Go ahead, Ron.
Do I gosh, I don't know if I'm doing this right, but I haven't
Yeah,
done
it looks
it in
right.
such a long time. How do I
Column
make
view.
myself full screen?
It's
me.
I think that's your background.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
we
full
have a
screen.
column.
You're full screen.
There,
Ah!
you did it. Okay.
It moved.
All right. So
There you go.
we were just talking about color computer Rainbow magazine, right?
Yep.
And I have a bunch of these. And the Color Computer magazine was prolific. I mean, they had all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Not only did they have where you can add, well, they had stuff that you could buy, and pictures, and they had
The cover looks like Lonnie
program-
Elvis.
program listings. They had little inserts here and there everywhere. They had see here, software to stimulate, all
Creative
kinds
computing.
yeah, neat stuff. Full page ads.
I found the Color Computer magazine before I found Rainbow.
Yeah, it was
Right.
great.
It was on
That's
the
where
newsstand. Yeah.
I typed
Color
in
Computer,
Jake Commander's Star Trek. That was a long one.
Yeah. And Color Computer published a 51 character screen mode a long time before Rainbow did.
Right.
Anyways, this kind of looks like who's this look like?
Mr. Furman?
Mikey.
Yeah.
I didn't know Mikey was on the cover of Rainbow.
Really?
Doesn't
Well,
surprise
it
me.
was his birthday recently, so of course he was.
Oh, they had artwork they published, which was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. And they got a whole box full here. I won't, waste a lot of time, but I'll just show you covers. Okay. Down to business.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss those
The
big
Rainbow
topic magazines. They were cool.
Coco Home Cooking.
Yep. It's a cup of chips.
And this was kind of thick. Telecommunications issue. On
Yep.
the back was
Mistron.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, Speed Racer.
Summer fun.
And then they have like a back to school in September. They got for most of their years, they had kind of a schedule of things. Yeah.
Did you guys get those too?
I never did.
I don't know why, but I did from Model 1 or something.
Lots of listings. Listings. Here's another.
Oh.
A lot of interesting artwork, huh? Here's another one that's 2000 on it.
Yeah.
On the back were a whole bunch of locations of Radio Shack in case you didn't have one near you. Matter of principle.
I typed something
education
in
issue.
from that. Yeah, I remember that one.
Printer issue. Putting it on paper. Rainbow. 8th anniversary. Imagine that.
Oh man, ancient.
What's that say?
Right.
Music, games, graphics, celebration of the season.
Yep. Christmas, the holiday issues were always good.
A new take on the old Christmas wreath made out of punch cards.
Yeah.
All right. Booklets, banners.
The home manager. That's kind of cool. Stuff related to home.
Yeah, there we go. Hot cocos too.
Probably the banana.
All right.
Really
You
banana.
can use these strange printers on your Tandy.
One pin to do the job.
Yep. Give me more power.
Yeah, that was a neat
Those are
night
those are in
magazine.
prestige. Those are in excellent shape. Look brand new.
Yeah, they're all
Right.
compressed on top of each other from sitting from years. Putting
Yeah.
pieces together.
And
There's
you're in
some
Arizona,
plus
so they
9
won't.
stuff. Yeah. Memory upgrades. Give me more power. I think that was a copy, wasn't it? Pascal logo C. Different languages. That's hot cocoa.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I recall, hot cocoa tend to be a little more hardware based than Rainbow was.
Yeah.
Everything was a little more technical than Rainbow was.
One that cover came off. Information intelligence, like AI? No, not quite. Do you think a lady designed this cover? Do you think?
A little
Possibly.
pastel.
Possibly. Possibly.
Like the look.
Here's the cover that came off Hot Cocoa. Let's see, this was to Michael Henman, Portland Street, Oregon.
Like when Elephant Systems made good money because they have the inside front covers. So.
Oh, look at this. This isn't cared for very well, was it?
Oh.
Man. Graphics.
Nice.
Yeah.
All my magazines turned into one big brick when the basement flooded. So I'm happy to
geez.
see these.
Oh. Games from the Sorcerer, Color Computing.
Yeah, I have that issue.
Interesting, huh? That was a nice magazine. It really was. Here's another Hot Cocoa.
Remember that one? Don't know why, but I do.
Remember Frank Hogg Laboratories?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Flex Windows 9.
I lusted for his software. He had Cocoa stuff that was really hot, and I couldn't afford it.
Hard drives.
Game show. And there's some smudge stuff on there.
Hey, might as well just send it to me. It's worthless.
Two left. Education issue.
Yeah, every year you gotta.
They were
Which
very.
year was this one?
They really had to come up with interesting things all the time, didn't they?
Well, they had the recurring issues. So what year was,
Tools of the trade.
Yep, the utilities issue.
And look at a hammer.
Yeah,
You're gonna use that on your floppies.
That'll fix it in some form.
I think that issue had a type-in CAD program.
No, I take you off of my computer monitor and take you to.
Oh no, shaky cam alert.
Yeah, yeah. Don't be nervous here. It's not going to hurt.
Well, we'll be good.
Come on, I'm going to go to my Apple that has. See this? That's on Marketplace.
Oh, looks new.
You see the price up there? $1,000.
Should be new.
And it's $1,000 because they're new in box.
Oh, there's a bunch of them?
Yeah, 4 of them. And MPI.
Yeah.
And there's a super pack, whatever that is, from CRC, RS2 pack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, $1,000. It's in Boulder City, Colorado, I think.
For all of them?
Yeah, 1,000 for everything.
Oh,
so
that's actually a decent deal.
Yeah.
Gotta go, guys. I'll see you later.
And I dug this up in the garage. It's a Tandy 1100 FD. And it says that this vintage 6.4 pound laptop released by Radio Shack in 1989 sold for $999. Let's see if I can make that better.
All right.
And that was a bargain then.
Working.
Is that like a desk mate on it?
Yeah, it's DeskMate.
Yeah, it's running DeskMate, Ron's favorite desktop program.
It's a backlit CGA monochrome LCD screen, 3.5-inch floppy disk drive, built-in MS-DOS with Tandy's DeskMate software. It had a V20 8 megahertz processor, switchable to 4 megahertz.
Oh,
yeah, I know
nice.
it's not a Coco, but look, it's a green screen.
And it's backlit. It's not some super funky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, and it runs. It works.
It works. I could type on that.
I have the charger for it, and I also have a pack here of software that came in a little box. And in the little box is the DeskMate software, that you would put in the floppy on the side. Anyways, I believe I have ended. That is it for today.
Awesome.
Good
Thank
show,
you.
Ron.
It's something different, huh?
Right.
'Cause
Interesting.
all those in the garage, and I thought, maybe I'll pull one out, and show it and get
What's
you guys
in
all
this box?
nostalgic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right.
All
Thanks.
right. Updates and acquisitions. Well, let's see. Rick, want to go first, and then Henry?
Sure, because I don't really have anything formal. I've just got some things to throw up. Is my camera on? It is. Okay, so
I'm surrounded by cats. Careful with the word "throw up."
oh yeah, that could be bad. In any case, I guess moral to the story: don't take things on top. I was throwing away a bunch of ripped up ROM pack boxes and stuff from the attic, and I decided to dig through them, and I found all these old RAM upgrades that I made many moons ago.
Hey, those are still sellable.
Yeah, I know this is still usable stuff, and I was about to throw it in
RAM?
the garbage.
There's
Yeah, it's RAM, man. It's worth $1 million today. And then I got some,
AI company is about to call you. They want to put a bid on that to buy it next year.
Then I got some newer upgrades that Connect sold. These are all lovingly printed in DMP 105. So,
Let's talk, Rick.
For the bees.
But the thing that got my attention, and someone can tell me what this is. Here are the chips, and they're these layered things, black, white, black. This reminds me of some kind of grandma candy, and I can't think of what it is.
Oh, those
mint
mints.
flavored.
Yeah, those Andes mints.
Do they smell like Andes mints?
Well, no, they aren't. They aren't nice mint and chocolate. There's some kind of grandma licorice and something that had the white stripe in the middle. Anyway, it just is one of those things that brought up a mental memory that I probably would rather forget. I think there was licorice involved. In any case, oh yeah, and then I found a Coco RAM.
Oh,
original Tandy
AXX.
Yeah, you stick a coffee cup on top of your cocoa, and it'll stay warm all day. That kind of RAM. So anyway, I was going to throw all that box away, and I just went through every little bit of it. So if you're going to throw away some old crap, some old ROM pack boxes you tore up and blah blah blah, dig through it anyway. You might find something. So anyway, that was my thing, and
so these are going to be on your store now.
Of course, I'll have to test them all, but yeah, why not? I mean,
somebody might need them.
And the installation instructions I already wrote. I don't remember them anymore, but I wrote them.
All right. Okay. Next up is Henry.
All right. So since this is, I usually like to show you something I'm working on that works, but since this is backwards day on the CoCoNation, I'm gonna
there you go.
show you something I was trying to debug last night and did not work. We're using the TFR9 architecture. Just to remind you, this was the TFR 905 that came out a year ago. This one has a Hitachi 63C09E for the vintage processor, Churka 1982, and had a PiPico 2 soldered down on it. And since the PiPico 2 doesn't have enough GPIO lines to cover everything, had a bunch of extra support logic on here, did multiplexing and level converting. The new one this year is the TFR 911. And this time we've got the RP2350B, which has 48 usable GPIO lines so we can cover everything. And this is what I'm trying to get more code to work on.
Now, you said the age of the 6309, but what's the age of those chips, the other ones? Are they brand new?
The age of this one? About 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is kind of interesting. It is a standalone board that you could plug in, except this board has emulated it on the board underneath. So you don't need to plug anything in. There's all these pads that you could have plugged a module in on top of.
Yeah. Yeah. You mean these pads along here?
Yeah, the whole thing encompassed in that top double row of pins could be a separate module that you bought and plugged in, but you've already got it on your base board.
But I found it on GitHub. There's a guy, Vanderberg, who had this design in KiCad already.
Right, which saves a whole lot of time for everybody involved and some costs.
And right, we don't have to solder that down. Everything is pick and placed magically for us. The yield has been fantastic on these. They almost all work. And we have plenty of holes still if you do want to put headers in there and attach your own stuff. But we also have this socket connector here, which has the 12 unused GPIO lines coming out on it, as well as some power that you could put a little hat on, and like a FujiNet hat.
That's not the same hat socket as the Centipede, though, is it?
It actually is.
Oh, sweet.
As much as can be. The Centipede is on the CoCo bus, and so you don't have IRQ, and you do have SND. On this one, we don't have SND, so it's very, very close. Yeah, and most things that you attach on here are probably going to do SPI or I2C protocol or something like that through those pins, and so the interrupts won't matter too much. But yeah, that's the idea. Be as close as possible. I've had about 3 sets of firmware working on here to drive the 6309, to provide it clock, provide it ROM, provide it RAM, and IO devices like a terminal. And I'm trying to combine my software for this and for, I don't have one sitting nearby. Well, I do. I'll pull it out of my CoCo too. And for the Centipede board here, which instead of having a 6809 on it goes into the CoCo. I'm trying to combine the softwares for these. There's a lot of features I've got working on here that would be nice to have over here.
That would be nice.
And for those of us that already have one but want to get the other, that having the software cross would also be nice too. So
right. All the virtualized devices for one should be able to work on the other. The big difference between the two is the Centipede, the clock is external to the board. It's the E and the Q coming in from the edge connector. And on here, the E and the Q are being generated inside the RP2350 microcontroller. And that really is the hugest difference between the two. I'm going to share.
Is the TFR going to be up on the on Rick's site? Or is it already up there?
Absolutely will, yeah.
The older ones are there. The new one isn't there yet because don't have any.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is all waiting on me to.
Okay. No, cool.
Get it published. So I'm going to share a shell. Let's see if I can do. No, I might not. I might have to do. Oh, here we go. Window. Okay, and I can choose my Linux shell to share. All right, is that sharing now?
No.
Oh, wait. Push one more button.
Oh.
Now it's sharing.
That helped.
You see a purple screen. What am I doing? I'm in a copy of this is a small, it's not small, it's a subset of OS 9 that Boise Pete has made called Turbos 9. And some stuff is simplified. I do not have a random block file device, for instance. There's no disk device on here. So whatever I can do has got to be in RAM. And so here's the the commands I can actually do. What are my procs? So I'm talking to a TFR9 right now, the 911, and it's spitting out this stuff where it's trying to figure out what the speed of the clock is, but one of the numbers has overflowed, and so it's actually printing garbage. But we can go into Basic 09, into the editor. Phi equals 1 to 999, 20 print. I times I, 30 next I, width, list, run. And I'm just proving that you can do useful things on here. 7, 8, 9. All right. And if I hit Control C, I'm back to my Unix prompt where this was the program that I run on the Unix or the Linux side in order to talk to the TFR9.
And you've already got Basic 09 in a box.
Basic 09 in a box. That's right. Yeah.
One killer app already ready.
All right.
Now my CMake file ends in, I didn't mean to do that. Ends in this command, copy to RAM. And so whatever I've got in C++ that's the firmware to run on the TFR911, all of that stuff is going to get copied from flash memory into RAM. It's got 16 megabytes of flash, only half a megabyte of RAM. And so you can't fit too large a program or you run out of RAM, and I need RAM for doing other stuff. But it runs well. And there's some difficulties if you don't copy to RAM, especially using what's called execute in place for the flash. It maps your flash memory into your memory space, but it actually is slower to go to the flash than memory. So there's also some caching going on. And I'm gonna take out that line now, comment it out. And I'm trying to get this to work. What have I got? Here we go. I have to push a couple buttons on the TFR911 board to put it in programming mode. I can type make, and after it makes, it will copy. It's a lot of percents. There's a line missing that would have made this not have to recompile everything. I've got to fix that. But recompile, and finally it copies the product, which is a UF2 file, onto this thing that mounted itself, named RP2350, and that's how you flash it. You put it in flash mode, the mount shows up, you copy the binary into it, and now it's been reflashed. So go over to this other shell again, hold down reset on the board while I start the tether program on my Linux box. And it comes up, it installs the OS, and I'm just going to hit enter a few times. And look, it's already made a mistake. And usually right about there, yeah, after about 5 or 8 seconds, it freezes up and it types a C with a cedilla for some reason.
It's
and
become fluid.
So I've now showed you a crash. Now, what could possibly be going wrong? There's a lot of different things, and I've got to debug it. First thought, maybe it's a buffer overflow in the Pico, but the fact that changing whether it's in RAM or not toggles that means it's probably not overflowing one of my Pico buffers. If you stall the 6309 for too long, even though it's CMOS, it will lose its memory. But I've stalled it for pretty good time up until now, And this has never really been a problem in practice. So I don't think it's because we're stalling the 6309. Why would it stall? It would stall because we're waiting on some IO. We're trying to print a character to the Linux tether program, and the USB is not quite ready yet. Or we're doing a disk operation. We're going to do a read or a write to a remote sector on the Linux box. But I've never had crashes due to that before. It could be because we're not configuring it right for the flash to see. Some of the functions we're going to copy into RAM. Other functions we're going to leave in flash. Only the things that are critically fast need to be in RAM. And we've misconfigured it or something like that. So how do I debug it? So you don't need to look at this crash anymore. I'll stop sharing. You can see me again. So how am I going to debug this now? Well, last night we tried a little bit. I had Claude to take a look at it to tell me what I did wrong, and that didn't work out. It was sure it found a couple of problems, but no, they weren't problems in the end. So I think divide and conquer, trim everything down, take features out, try to implement the simplest little loop possible, like a very simple loop that I've used in the past and works well is ignore all writes, and every time the 6309 CPU does a read cycle, tell it 7E. And how does that work? Well, when it wants the reset vector is going to be 7E, 7E. So it'll start executing at 7E. It'll read a 7E instruction. That's a long branch, or a jump to subroutine. So it jumps to a subroutine at 7E, 7E, and I see it push stuff on the stack. And then it executes another jump to subroutine 7E, 7E over and over again. That's a nice stable pattern that you can debug. So anyway, I just wanted to give you all a little insight into what it takes to create and debug and compile for and burn the firmware on these things. And
so was your debugger called Canif Raid?
Yeah. Yeah, because we've got centipedes and bugs and
it all goes together.
We also have the gerbil. The gerbil is for the centipede. The gerbil runs the wheel, which has to keep up with the 6809's E and Q clock, and it's running in a programmable IO state machine. I think the equivalent on the TFR 911 is going to be named hamster instead of gerbil, but both are going to be running the wheel.
Okay, so your outside processor has to keep up with 6309 or...
Yeah, and especially on the centipede, it has to keep up because that clock is external. On the TFR, I'm in control, and I can pause it, but I would like to get it to where it actually produces halt cycles when it really needs to stop the processor, because we've got to do some work and flush our buffers before we can continue. That's the way.
Enable the halting floppy controller hate right here and avoid all that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it actually send the NMI to the floppy correctly using when I'm emulating floppy on the centipede.
All right. So would you like some feature creep? Because that's mandatory.
We're flexing. Right.
Yeah. There is a question in the chat about MC10 when. So TFR 911.
Oh, it's got one.
I got 2 boxes of 36 pin connectors in the mail. I have not gone upstairs and got out the MC10 yet to see if they fit on it.
Just look under the window.
But what's smaller than a centipede? I'll be open to naming conventions.
Well, we've got pill bugs somewhere.
Millipede.
Right?
That's bigger. You need a decapede or something.
No, pill bug. Just a little tiny pill bug.
No, decapede. You're right. Yeah.
Ladybug
instead of hundreds.
But yeah, the when I saw the TFR 911, I'm thinking of the HC11, the microcontroller in the same kind of idea.
What was the HC11? Oh, the 68 HC11. Yeah. Okay. Or the 68 02 and 03 were microcontrollers, right?
Ken Wilmot says, how about tardigrade?
Tardigrade. Yeah. Oh, and what was that? I was watching a YouTube video of Hungarian composer. One of his things was used in the movie 2001, Lux Aeternis, Ligeti, George Ligeti. And the YouTube video had this 3D kind of version of a Mandelbrot set that looks very tardigrade-ish. And it's really neat looking.
Okay. That it for now?
That is it for now. You just text me all your feature creeps.
Okay.
I gotta head out, guys. I will see y'all maybe next week.
Okay.
All right,
see
Lee.
ya.
Catch you later.
So in the chat, Rick, Tommy Rick Gunderson had an answer for your question on the liquor. He says Bassett's licorice.
Yeah, that's it. He's right. I Googled it, and that's the stuff my grandma had. It was like licorice, but it had sugar in the white stripes, so it was edible.
Holopede, minipede. Yeah. It's like a naming contest starting up.
Yeah, we need the peds.
I do got one quick thing to share with you guys too when you get to a moment.
We are at that moment.
We are there. Desperately hoping for content.
What's this?
A stick.
Licorice.
It's too fuzzy to make out.
It's a swizzle stick.
It's not a stick, it's a shtick.
It's unfortunately it's the end of it's the end of a cord.
Who's cord?
Is that 120 volts?
What's missing?
The plug
thing.
Yeah, the plug.
The rest that goes into it. Well, let me show you what's at the other end of this cord here real quick then. Switch cameras.
It's a Coco Deluxe.
No, unfortunately.
Oh, a Coco. Nice Coco.
Coco 3, but this is not shadowing right here, just so you know.
Okay, that's life.
It needs a bit of sandblasting.
Oh my gosh. There's even a cigarette burn right here, or some kind of a burn. It looks like a cigarette burn.
Could be a siren.
I already opened the side door of this thing and put it on its side and gave it a good shake. And
how much come out?
You filled up a trash can?
I had sticks come out. Yes, I did. So yeah, I got this at a really good price. But you can it looks a lot whiter than it does in real life here. I mean, I'm not even sure what that is. I probably shouldn't be touching it with my bare hands.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
That needs a trip to the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Sanitize.
So obviously this thing's going to have to come apart, because the cord end is cut off. So I figured I'd do the ritual of breaking the seal. So breaking the warranty sticker.
And I may add, just as comment, cutting a cord off at either end is usually the universal sign of this thing is so screwed up. You got to work on it. Don't plug it in ever again.
Well,
and I'm going to make sure of it. I'm not going to tag it. I'm going to cut the dang cord.
I've also seen sellers on eBay that are clearly like e-waste processors, where they receive e-waste in.
Yeah.
And they like cut the cords before they resell them, so I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I assume no responsibility. You cannot plug this in at all.
It could have got caught in a screen door.
Yeah.
That's
So,
that's the universal sign of fix this, please.
But the other thing too is that I mean, as dirty as it is, and also the cord, you can tell. I mean, the cord itself, it's kind of hard to describe, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. The cord has gotten stiff, so this thing has been not in a good environment. You know, I mean, it's just it feels hard and stuff like that. So I mean, this thing's not been stored well, so it's hard to say what's going to be inside. But you know, it's probably repairable.
Are you going to fire it up on the show?
No, I can't because there's no way to plug it in.
Oh yes, there
No,
is.
but he's going to punch the he's going to punch the label, aren't you?
Come on.
Give me all the suggestions you want. I am not going to power it up on the show today.
Punch the label. Punch the label. Punch the label.
Not going to happen. I don't have it. I don't have anything. I don't have anything to even plug it into.
Don't you want to know if the keyboard's good?
No, I don't even if I wanted to, I don't even have anything to plug it into. So
yeah, I just strip the wires back and shove it in the plug.
Right?
Yeah, there you go.
Shove it in the socket.
Yeah.
And not only that, though, there's going to be, I think there's going to be too much crud on the inside anyway. I wouldn't want to power it on. So
we might get to see the.
You might make something angry.
Yeah. So this thing's gonna need a proper cleaning first before I do anything, and probably take a continuity tester to it and see what's what before I do anything. So
those pixies might get angry.
Right.
Okay, let's see what we got here. I haven't had it open, obviously, as you can see.
There you go. As advertised.
This is not dirt. This is bugs. So for everybody knows.
Bugs.
They're not moving.
The garbage can over. I'm bringing the garbage can over.
They're fried. Yeah, it's all good.
At least they're not mouse or rat leavings. So.
Well.
You might get there.
Okay. Well, let's see what we got here
on live TV.
Actually, surprisingly, I'm actually surprised it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
That RF can doesn't look bad.
Plug it in.
It's been hot and dry. There may be bugs, but there ain't no rust.
Let's see what we got
what type
here.
of gimme?
128
86.
Sparkly demon.
Well, the little rubber knobby came off the.
It's been 1,000 degrees somewhere.
Yeah. Oh,
that's why it's not rusted and crap.
Right, here's another one of these kind of sticks. I had a couple of these kind of fall out from before too. So I don't know.
Pine needles or something?
I don't know. It's square looking. It's kind of a different looking kind of. I don't know what it is. It's not really too thick.
Through the grill.
Or sticks they
hold sandwiches together with? In there?
Right.
They fell in through the grill.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Makes sense. They're the right size.
The only thing is, I think, is there supposed to be a screw over in the corner here, or maybe not? There's one here. I thought there was a screw that was over in the corner, but maybe not. One here.
No, not always.
No, there's only two on the front.
Only the two on the front? Okay.
Yep. And the two on the edge connector.
Yeah, that's what holds it in there, right? Yep.
Since it's cleaner than you thought, you can just plug it in now.
Ron, there's no plug.
Right. The plug is deplugged.
We got a 3-minute fix for that.
You peel it
plug
back,
that motherboard into a different power supply and see how it goes.
get some black tape, and you're all set.
And then you'll know. Yeah.
Black tape.
Yeah.
Actually, look at the
two wires.
Here's a little bug remnant right in the.
Oh yeah.
I'm seeing a lot more than you guys probably are. There's a
little vacuum sweep would be nice.
Oh yeah. So actually, I'm kind of surprised. This is much cleaner than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting a film of yuck here, but no, actually it's in really good shape. I bet you once I replace the cord here, get a proper cord. Yeah. Actually, if you guys remember a couple weeks ago, I actually had some power supplies that I bought from somebody, so I could actually just drop one right in. I don't have to even do a cord, so that'll be
right. Because the thing is, the electronics can take heat very well, but the transformer and the AC cord can't really.
Yeah.
So that would be a good thing to plug this thing with the different power supply, and I bet it fires right up, and you never have to worry about how that transformer has baked.
Yep. Yeah, just do a quick little reseat there, reseat on the gimme,
and fire it up.
And fire it up. Bet you the thing will light right up.
We'll wait.
So we get an update next week.
Maybe.
Nice keyboard too. It's
Like,
not.
well, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on here, guys. Hold on. Is this the box? Is this the box? Hey. Hold on. You guys want to see some live hardware stuff going on here? Look, it's right here.
Oh, here's the new transformer.
There it is.
Okay. They did cut the knob off for a reason.
Let's see here. Did I, yeah, this is the
Here's
right
the
one.
you need. Yeah. Okay.
I don't have any way to, well, I can do composite video. I don't have anything, I can't do RGB video. I can see it. You guys won't be able to see it. Let's put it that way.
We'll trust you.
So
we're just going to listen for the click. That's all.
You don't have to put it in or anything. Just unplug the cable off the motherboard and plug the other transformer in and hit it with the juice.
Right? Ooh,
I was just going to fix it on the radio so we didn't have to do it later.
There's some more buggage going on over here.
They'll fry out.
Yeah, you might want to flip it over and just let gravity try to get a little bit more out.
I'll give it a little thunk, thunk, thunk.
Sounds like somebody was playing Megabug.
Right. And lost. They rage cut the cord.
We got you.
Who spoke of listening for the click?
Yeah, that was
the relay click when you turn it on. You if you don't have any video, I always listen for the click, because if the click is there, you're booting into ROM. You just don't have video.
And you can also blind type motor on and motor off, and it should click for those things. And then you know absolutely it's working.
CPU's working, BASIC's working.
When you reset the clicking noise, is that kind of a good thing, or is that something I should try to avoid with the Centipede? Because right now I'm getting a click.
Yeah, don't throw that away. It probably still works.
Oh no, I'll put a new cord on it.
We don't know, but yeah.
And Ron,
yeah.
By making that statement, you clearly don't know me very well.
Throw something away? Are you crazy?
Oh, hold
So
on
you
here.
must be more like me.
Probably. I think we're probably more alike than you realize there in that aspect. So there we go. Okay.
You bugging.
Let's see here. What else do we got here real quick here before we do a...
Do you got a can of spray, air that you can just hit real quick?
Oh, get it all into the air and through the house and everywhere? Yeah.
COVID's back.
Okay. Hold on here. We're going to do a little... so I like to just hit each one of these.
Bump the sockets. Right.
Yep. I just usually just give them a little lean on and just enough to kind of get a little scrape action going on with the contact.
And a little switch. Exactly.
Yep. You can hear you can hear the crunchiness going on there. So get the other side here, because I have done these before too, where the pins are oxided so bad they feel like the pins are actually going to pull out, and you could do a little damage there. So. Okay.
Well, that's where you zap it with your fix it for faders.
Right. Hold on here. Going a little off camera here. Just do a couple little poofs of air here just to get a.
Then aroma through the house, so your family will all appreciate you.
Right. Okay. Now let me check the. Let me just.
This
do
is the best part of the whole show.
Right.
Let me just do something with the gimme here. Hold on.
Is this going to work, or isn't it? I love these gimme pulls. I hope this is going the right way.
Don't break that mount.
Oh no, I popped enough of them out before.
Right. No, but it's just random hard force. And then,
okay, now, Mr. Transformer here. This has turned into a bit more. I was just gonna do some show and tell here, and then I realized, oh, that's right. I got that transformer sitting over here, and I thought maybe I already took it and put it away.
Now, do you put new screws in there, or you use the old ones?
I'll use the screws over there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd use the old ones. They already fit.
Yep.
They've cut their threads, and they'll go right back.
Okay, let's see here. Hold on.
Why
You
do
got to
the
put your
screen
AC
back?
cord into the thing first. Trust
Yep.
me on this. You've got to thread that through all of that before you put the transformer in, or you'll never get it done.
Well, I'm just trying to.
Oh,
Right now,
you
I'm
just
just trying
test-
to.
Well,
I
just
just want to
plug
get
the
it in the spot
stupid
so I
cord
can.
in and plug it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna plug it in.
See
here.
that smoke?
Nah, there'll be
No
no smoke.
You got
Hold on,
probably watch. You got people watching, thinking, "Man, you got to replace all those capacitors."
Oh yeah, right.
I'm not big on the.
And
the
you
whole
don't have your
capacitor
wrist
thing
strap
and stuff.
on, and yeah.
Yeah, how many years old are they?
Whenever it was built.
56.
40
yeah.
years this year.
Yeah,
Hold
40
on here.
years since it's
Just a
86.
second here.
So they're still soft and supple inside.
Well,
Yeah, the capacitors didn't get funky and bad until later 99.
right,
2000s.
but these are about as soft and supple as I am, so we're getting toward the.
There we go. Sorry, the case kept on wanting to come apart. I had to do a little. Had to bend the tabs over a little bit so they didn't walk a little bit on me. Come on.
Juice in the hole. Juice in the hole. It doesn't need to fit. It just needs to plug in.
Right? There we go. I'm just trying to get this to a safe spot there so I can.
There is no safety. Plug it in.
There we go. Okay.
Are those keyed?
What's that?
Yes.
Will you get out of here?
This?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yep.
All right.
Okay. Let's get the keyboard back in place here.
So we got a question. Is this one of the made in USA ones? Or is this made
No.
in Korea?
No.
Korean feet. See the feet?
Manufactured in Korea.
There you
See the
go.
feet?
Oh, the transformer.
I'll
Those
bet
feet
you
are the
those
Korean
bugs
feet.
are from USA.
Okay, let's see here. Let me bring this over here. I have to move my monitors out of the way here, guys.
All right.
I got one of those articulating monitor arms, but I got a TV set behind it, so I can slide that out of the way. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. Composite, where you at? Oh, do I not have the composite?
And then when you're
cable?
all done and it works, you're going to tell us how much you paid for it.
Or not.
Oh yeah, come on.
Okay, hold on here, guys. Now I don't have the cable hooked up, so talk amongst yourselves for 2 seconds.
We already do.
Now these things are, these things are actually pretty hardy, I mean, as we all know. And
Right.
So what do you think? You paid 40 for it, maybe?
no, I paid more than that for it, but
Oh, okay.
I didn't pay no $300,
No.
for it, so, but. Hold on here. I'm going to plan B real quick here, guys. Thanks for your patience.
Oh, no worries. We want to see it blow as much as any.
Don't forget to tip your waiters and waitresses here. Okay,
Exactly.
what do we got here? Okay,
And try the
this-
fish.
This goes here. Whoops. This goes here. This goes. That's gonna go there. Where's the other cable at? Oh, here we go.
The case is
And-
kind of still white, though, even though it's dirty. It's not yellow.
For the inside, I'm not sure.
Okay, so
Well, that could be as light.
that.
Because look at the edge down below. It's all white.
Okay. Got this.
All right.
I'm training for the Olympics here. How fast can you hook up RGB to HDMI
An entire, yeah.
and a switcheroo all in one shot there?
You don't have those permanently on your bench?
I normally do, but I've been working from home a little bit, and I needed some more real estate, so I've had.
Okay.
Normally
Real life
I
day
have to-
job. That's important.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
so
actual
this-
day job is good.
There's that. There's that. Okay, those go there. Okay, we're getting closer, getting closer. HDMI out. Okay. Let me check myself here. Okay, this is going to go on the bottom.
So let's see if this is worth the $100 he paid.
There's that. Okay. Just check myself here so I'm not giving a false positive on the
Reseat the gimme.
Yep, already did.
Yep.
Okay. TV on.
We can't tell.
Now, you guys want to see the Coco come on, or you want to look at the Coco and watch the smoke?
We want to see the sparks.
Oh, you gotta have both. No, yeah.
I need to really get what's the program that you guys use for your video?
OBS.
So I got to get OBS so I can have dual input there.
Split screens and crap. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
I'm on HDMI.
Get us up on how to do that.
You know, after it comes on, then you can pan to the monitor.
Okay.
Oh yeah, right. If it doesn't explode, then you've got time to switch screens. Exactly.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, no sparks yet.
Fire extinguisher handy?
And you guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
I heard a click.
All right,
There's
it's gonna come on.
And click, and this is what I'm looking at, guys. I'm looking at that.
Oh, awesome! Nicely done.
Not bad for $100.
You don't even have any screwed up borders or anything. It's just perfect.
Good. Not a tragic ending.
Fantastic.
Sell that.
Print
Look at that, we'll sell that baby for 300.
Print mem.
Another one saved from the peep.
You can also do a question mark mem.
So there we are.
No, it's perfect. Just the right amount of gel bar. It's a beauty.
Yeah, looks good.
Yes,
Okay, how much for it if you sell it and you don't clean it?
I don't know. I've actually only sold just a couple Coco 3s. Usually they were ones that were in need of some attention, some loving care and stuff like that. And I kind of know the people they went to, and so they received the love. So anyway.
Nice.
So there we are. Yeah. So basically, if I can take that other one and I can put go buy a decent cord and lop the one end off and solder it onto the transformer and replace that cord, put that one back in, and we'll be in business.
You put on a proper 3-wire grounded plug. Not that you know what to do with that, but
right.
Anyway.
Well, right. It doesn't go to anything, but
CLS3.
yeah, just stick a cheap lamp cord on the end of it and see if it works. It might not. It's cut off in a suspicious manner.
I just, like I said, let me switch screens here again here. Oops.
Hey, Mark B.
Yeah.
I actually have something to show too. It seems that Jim Mullis of the Superpowers game sent me a link.
Okay.
So put me in the queue.
So, yeah, I mean, this is
like, put me in, coach.
Put me in.
So, I mean, this could need a little whitening up. I mean, like I said, this looks a lot whiter than what it probably does on camera, or looks a lot dirtier. The camera looks a lot better, but a good scrub down of the case and everything, and clean up these keys and everything, and have a nice. There's a bug in the right there.
This computer's got lots of bugs, man.
Yeah, it has lots of bugs in it and stuff like that. But anyway, well, that was kind of fun, guys. That was a little bit more of an exercise than I was planning on doing, but all's well, right? So.
Yeah. All right, it's already fixed now.
Little live action there, huh?
Yeah.
So.
Good show.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right, Mark, you're up.
Okay, I didn't realize, but I got a direct message from Jim Mullis of Superpowers, and he sent me a link to a video, which turns out to be something else he's working on. So let me screen share here, hopefully with sound, because there might be sound in his video. Share. Go. Let's see. Share sound. Let's see. I need find my window here.
So are you all moved in your house real good?
Oh yeah, I still got boxes of stuff everywhere.
Yeah, it looks
Okay,
like.
there's the one. Okay, hopefully you're seeing.
Something weird.
Yeah, it's trying to load here. So
There
it
we
should
go.
be okay. Let me hit the reload button just because. Okay, sound should be at 3/4. Let me hit play. I haven't listened to this, so find out what it says. It says it's a Coco tile-based RPG game in P Mode 1.
Eat.
Yeah, I realized I got a message a couple hours ago. It says, "Hey, Mark, do you guys want to show us this week?" Oh, okay. Must be in real time. I was using VCC, so yeah, it's probably Coco 3, but it's in P Mode 1.
So that would be a syringe, right?
A knife. A blade.
Yeah, it could be, but I think it's a blade.
You think it's a candle on a stand?
It could be, but I think it's a sword because it's an adventure quest.
It's a syringe. Yeah, we're taking a trip.
Taking a trip. Where's my syringe?
Some LDS, right?
Yeah. Too much LDS in the 60s, yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Look at that. And the classic colors. Yellow, green, red, and blue.
It's like you've zoomed into Gauntlet or Dungeons.
Is that on P Mode 1? Oh, too many colors.
So I guess that's a silver sword.
That's what it looks like.
That looked like a semi-graphic screen to me.
Well, that was it. It's only a minute and a half. Now we have more things to talk about.
Yeah, did he say whether or not he's AI on that?
Nope. He just says, "You want to show this week?" It's like, sure.
That's it, huh?
Okay, we showed it.
That's it.
Alrighty.
Will there be a Coco Tech show coming up in a ways?
Planning on doing one, but I have not been hitting it really hard. I've been busy at work and other stuff. So got everybody on board. I think we're all good for a Tuesday. Probably not this coming Tuesday, but the next Tuesday. I'll see. I'll float that out there. So everybody seems pretty open for the next couple of weeks. So
cool.
Mainly I need to get my computer here working good. It's been really lagging bad. And also my audio interface keeps dropping out. It's pulling like that Logitech thing where it starts getting fuzzy and you have to reboot
Well,
it.
how could you have trouble when you're a tech whiz?
Because trouble
Just
follows
because
us
you
no matter
ripped
what.
everything apart and put it all back together, a house down the street, why would that be a problem?
Yeah.
Just because I can call myself a professional because I've actually charged money for doing sound stuff, doesn't mean.
Yeah, but you still got to get it done, man.
You're gonna fire yourself,
still,
man.
and things still mess up.
You're going to have to sue yourself.
Yeah, you're gonna have to let yourself go.
Right.
Yeah, sorry, we just can't keep you on any longer.
Yeah. You can't sit at your own desk now.
Okay. Well, are we done?
You want to
I think
end the
it's
show
about right.
now? Is that what it is?
Yeah. We're going to run the beginning actually because we did it backwards.
Yeah, we have to run the intro now.
The CoCoNation show is an unscripted, live, and interactive broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live...
This concludes another episode of The CoCoNation, the world's leading live, interactive talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things The CoCoNation, visit us on the web at thecoconation.com. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to show@thecoconation.com. The CoCoNation Show would not exist without the community and its cast and crew. The CoCoNation theme song, copyright 2022, D. Bruce Moore. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. The CoCoNation is over. Join us on the Coco Discord server. Coco forever.
Yeah, we're just having way too much fun today.
Shows too.
Yeah, you know what? If we thought about it a little bit, we could have just run the outro at the beginning and run the intro at the end.
And
Made
yeah,
it, made it a complete reversal.
And then we'd be introducing everybody right now.
That's right.
That's right.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, welcome
People
to
would
the
be
show.
turning their TVs around and flipping their consoles over and trying to fix it.
And we still managed to keep 35 viewers on this for today.
Wow.
Wow.
Is that a record?
No, that's about
That's-
usual.
That's pretty
Mic
typical.
checks.
So
Yep. Don't know. They keep showing up every week. It's eerie.
Right.
okay, well, till
sure.
next week. Have fun and Coco on.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Where's my
Oh,
mouse?
sorry.
There it is.
Where's my mouse?
Well,